Okay. Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ sí mi? Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ sí mi?
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Iṣẹ́ kúnlẹ̀ níwájú mi bàbí. But I want to become you.
Wow. Àwọn èèyàn ti ń dé. You're welcome, ma. So the meeting will be starting, as we mentioned, in the next 5 minutes. Our invited guests will also be with us shortly. You are welcome to the meeting. You are welcome to the meeting. You are welcome to the meeting. We will be starting the program in the next 5 minutes. So I've opened the meeting now. People can join without me admitting them again. You are welcome to the meeting. You are welcome to the meeting. This is a program designed for teachers by teachers and bid to assist ourselves, giving all the opportunity. You are welcome. In the next 4 minutes, we are going to start the meeting. You're welcome. You can put on your video if you are convenient with that. To make the meeting as interactive as possible, but we'll appreciate if we mute our mic so that we'll be able to hear the speaker very well. You're welcome to the meeting. In the next 3 minutes, we're going to start the meeting because we are dealing with time, and definitely on the dot of 1 p.m. as mentioned in the various platforms. We'll start the meeting by 1 p.m. Nigerian time. So we have just 3 minutes more to wait for others to join while we start the program. You can put on your video. It will make us to interact better. The only thing is just we plead that you mute your mic all through. We plead that you mute your mic all through so that we will be able to hear the speaker very well and there won't be interference. You're welcome. You're welcome to the meeting. As mentioned earlier, we have just 2 minutes. On the dot of 1, we will start the program. You're welcome. In the next 1 minute, we are starting. We will not wait for others because we have to deal with time. And on the dot of 1 p.m. Nigerian time, we'll start the program. Thank you for turning up. I hope it will be an enlightening session for you. Okay. I think at this point, we can start the program. And you will permit me, we're going to start the program with a prayer that will be said by Mr. Kimbola Toby. And from there, I will go on to introduce the speaker for today. So Mr. Kimbola Toby, you can please unmute your mic and give us a opening prayer. Thank you.
Everyone, we thank you, Rabbi. It's your name. We thank you for the opportunity you have granted unto us. Lord Father, we pray as we've gathered. We pray for this section. We make it insightful in the name of Jesus. We pray concerning the anchor and our guest speaker. We pray that you channel their spirit to give us the insight, information for every step that will be very useful for each and every one of us in Jesus' name. We pray that the purpose at which you have gathered will be achieved in the name of Jesus. For us, we long to make a progress in our career, in our lives. We pray that it shall come to pass in the name of Jesus. We thank you because you've answered our prayer. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer. I'm very grateful. Please, I would implore us to mute our mic. Please, let's mute our mic so that we will not have interference. We will be able to hear the speaker very well. My job is very simple. My name is Olatunde Ayorinde Emmanuel, and I was once a secondary school teacher in Nigeria. I mean in Graceland International School in Port Harcourt. I was privileged to work there between 2016 to 2021 before I stopped teaching actively in the secondary school. That's just a brief intro about myself. And for me to introduce my guest speaker today, I will do something that is needful for us. I can actually, get his details and, prepare a PowerPoint and bring out slides and all the rest. But I think introducing him in the way that I want to do today will actually be an insight for, the participants. The person that I'm introducing is actually our guest speaker today. Very soon I will stop speaking and he will have the floor because he is the one that we are gathering around today to glean from his knowledge. He's also a secondary school teacher, like many of us, and I am coming to his LinkedIn page to introduce him. That alone is already sending message to us that as professionals that we are, we actually need to build, our professional sphere in a way that, maybe tomorrow you will also be an invited guest to speak. As someone without any hassle can actually go to, to the internet, just enter your LinkedIn page, go into your YouTube page, and from there, the job to introduce you is, well done. So here you see his skills and endorsements. I will not be opening more because of our time. You will see there the Python programming language. He's a mathematics teacher. See the word, the Microsoft Excel. You look at his licenses and certifications. I believe you will be talking more about this, so I won't go into all of that, but just to showcase that, you know, the person we are bringing aboard is not coming here to tell us stories. He has what, you know, he will be giving us, and as a matter of fact, if he doesn't have it, we will actually not be bringing him up on board today. You see the license and certification. I won't be reading them out. After the meeting, you will have his social media handles, you will have his name. You can always go online and, you know, check things out for yourself. And, you know, for us in Nigeria, at least we can link with this now. He actually graduated from University of Ibadan, you know, have his bachelor's in mathematics 2008 to 2011, and he has his postgraduate diploma in education, you know, at NTI, which I believe many of us have, and he will be mentioning all those things before. And, you know, before I leave this area, I saw something. He published a paper in Elsevier this year. And if you are in the academics, you know where we mention journals. When someone is publishing in Elsevier, you know that's actually something that have to do with you know, academic excellence. And he actually also have his master's degree in mathematics in University of Macau, in China, you know, where he actually taught in Asia. And about the teaching job, he actually taught in Nigeria in Day Watermark College. That's January 2016 to July 2016. He had 7 months as, you know, house parent, and from there he moved to mathematics Olympiad coordinator between 2014 to 2016. And, you know, on and on like that before he left Nigeria. Leaving Nigeria, he left Africa and he went into Asia. I want you to be detailing the journey. He left. I believe he will speak more about this, you know, about his own journey while he's trying to give us orientation. From Africa, he went into Asia, and there he was in China. That's in School of the Nations. That's Macau, around the, you know, inland in China. And from there, he taught between 2016 to actually this year. And, you know, from Africa to Asia, and from Asia, you know, AA is in E. So he's now in Europe. He just got to Belgrade some months ago. I was actually following him on WhatsApp status. And so, but we have actually discussed about, you know, Belgrade's Mass High School and, you know, Serbia Mass Olympiad and all the rest. As a matter of fact, I actually got in contact with him through South African Mass Olympiad. He is the founder of Less Erudites, which is actually the body that, you know, brought South African Mathematics Olympiad to Nigeria. And actually that's where we, you know, got to know each other. I mean, that was around 2017 now, when I was also into Olympiad in Nigeria. So a bit about him. After the program, you can actually go and, you know, get to know him more online. That's his picture there, you know, enjoy the teaching profession. So being a teacher is not actually something to be endured. I want to repeat that again. Being a teacher is not actually something to be endured. It is something to be enjoyed. You can actually have, you know, you can make it an, you know, an experience as a career. Okay, let me just quickly go to his YouTube channel because we are mindful of our time, because he is the one that owns today, and I will need to give him the time to actually do justice to the purpose why we are here. But before I give him the floor to take over the channel today, you see again his YouTube channel. I am not actually promoting him, but again, I'm also promoting him because before you can offer something to others, you have to actually have done something with yourself. But all the same, lest some people will not think that, oh, me, I don't have a YouTube channel, my LinkedIn profile is not as great as this, I have not been to Asia, I've not been to Europe, and not the rest. How will I get all these things that we are here to discuss? All these things is just to showcase what one person have actually done. that does not mean that without it, we cannot take that first leap. You know, we all know that Rome wasn't built in a day. But again, it is also a motivation for us that as you are teaching your class, you are having Zoom classes with all this pandemic and all the rest, you can actually be recording your classes and you put it on your YouTube channel. Just the YouTube channel will be your name. And from there, you have your lectures, you know, ranging to 30s, you know, 70s. And as you are having it, you are documenting it. And who knows, this may be a way that someone will introduce you in times to come. So without making much ado, I will be happy now to call on board our guest speaker, who himself is a mathematics teacher, as I was also a mathematics teacher, and he will be, you know, giving us that orientation today on how we can actually secure employment abroad to teach, you know, in foreign countries. Mr. Akintoye Daniel, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. All the accolade that you have given like this now, are you sure everything is as you have said? Anyway, I cannot say my guy is lying. Good afternoon, everybody. I believe it's afternoon also in Nigeria. My name is Daniel Oluwadamilare Akintoye. Mr. Ayorinde, will it be possible that we mute our participants so that Ali Gborawa Yedada only basically control, I believe. And I don't know if I'm able to, am I a co-host? Okay, I'm not able to share. So I think I have to be given some.
I'm giving you that priority now, sir. You can share now.
Yes.
Yes.
I can share now.
Yes.
I'm going to try to share. I made a slide which we will use. So give me some time. Let me share that. Okay, let me see if I can mute all participants first so that will help us a lot. Some people are not aware their mic is on. So let me see. Okay, Mr. Ayorinde, if you go to participant mute everybody.
Yes, I'm actually doing that now to make sure that they will be unable to, you know, unmute themselves.
Yes. Let me try. So
I sent something to you as well. You can check your phone, sir. Just to help in the presentation.
Okay. Noted.
Okay, sir.
So sorry. Noted. Let me try to open. I'm trying to share something. Okay, I'm having problem with my sharing. Just a sec, please. Portion of my screen. Okay, it's been a long time I use Zoom. A lot has changed, but notwithstanding, maybe I can share my desktop instead. Okay. It's saying I have to do some system preference. I just installed Zoom on this computer because that is where all the files are. So if I need to log in into a different device, I will do that right away. Portion of my screen, open system reference. It's telling me to open something and adjust some things from somewhere. Okay, if you guys don't mind, I'm logging into another device now. Sorry, please, just a few seconds. Everything I want to say, I made a slide to make it easier, but I made it on my work computer and it's my first time using Apple, so bear with me. And now it's telling me some things that I don't understand. But in any case, I'm going to just do the same because it's on Google. It's on Google Drive, so I can access it anywhere. Just a second, please.
Okay.
Mr. Ayorinde, I will be joining the meeting from another account.
Okay, sir.
I can just log out for maybe a few seconds or not. Let's see.
No problem.
I think I don't need to log out. So once we connect
Yes.
this, then I can just log in again.
Yes.
Apologies, everybody. Meeting ID 89174.
So in just matter of minutes, the presentation will start, and we actually kept the introduction, very brief. He's already joined with the other device. I can see him already, so that we go straight to the point. Okay, you're welcome back, sir. Okay, yes, I can see that.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Good.
I think the Apple device is not for a village boy like me. So this is me embarrassing my ancestors during a Zoom meeting. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. I know we have muted everybody's mic. So what you could do as the meeting goes is to maybe leave a message in the chat box, and Mr. Enride and myself will be monitoring it, and we'll be taking notes so that, or you could keep your question to the last time, or if you have any comments, you are welcome to just leave it in the comment section. But if it's a question, maybe you hold on to it so that we do not forget that you have asked a question, so that every question will be answered. Be rest assured, like I told my Oga there, I've cleared my schedule for at least the next few hours. So if we have tons of questions, that I'm here to answer them. Now, this is what I have prepared in this slide. I'm going to tell you about myself, my current position, educational, background, previous work. I will share my story. I will tell you the benefits of teaching abroad with my little experience, be it the one that I'm benefiting and the one that I'm yet to benefit. I will tell you what you must have. I will tell you who teaching abroad is not meant for. I'll tell you about international curriculum, all this as brief as possible. In some of them, I'll expatiate. I'll tell you the benefits to expect. I think I repeated that. I'll tell you how you can begin. I will give you some of the job platforms that you need to create your account on. And then I have one other clarification, then we take questions. And I think before the questions, I put there that we'll have contact Mr. Ayorinde and myself. So if you have any further question, you are welcome to email either of us, and we will try our best. Sorry about the way I look. I know we Nigerians like to do tie and whatever. I started my holiday today, and I'm just trying to be in a relaxed mode, so my hair is all over the place. My apologies. First of all, my name is Daniel Akintui. Like Mr. Ayorinde has said, I'm a math teacher and a passionate lover of mathematics. I'm a new dad. My baby is just a month plus old. My major academic interest now, includes mathematics and coding. Others include, TV, of course. TV is on right now. Either I'm watching political news or movie or documentary. I love to know what's going on. I love surfing the internet. I like to meet people. I don't know how to sing, but I love songs. I'm a native of Abeokuta in Nigeria, and I currently live in Belgrade, Serbia. In case you are wondering, where is Belgrade? Yes, Bimino wonder a couple of months ago, so you are not alone. In terms of education, I'm sharing some of this so that we know that the speaker is not from Cambridge or Oxford or some other big schools that we know. I think I want to, Mr. I'm going to join on the other device, but I like a participant this time. I want to be able to maybe monitor some things. Maybe they can help me out.
I've actually also joined with my phone so
Okay,
that
just
I
in
can
case.
also look at people's chats.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we
So
can.
I want to see what everybody is seeing so that it helps to adjust things. All right. I started from All Saints Anglican Primary School. It's in a place called Kobiti, Abeokuta. Anybody that knows Olumoro, Itoku, Salejion, that is my neighborhood. That's where my families grew up. That's where my family come from. Then sometimes in my primary 4, that would be 1994, I went to Kano State with my mom, where I finished the last 2 years of my primary education. And of course, due to finances, we had to come back to Abeokuta because it wasn't easy to pay. The school that I was admitted to was Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria Secondary School, but we couldn't find money to pay. I think it was 5,000 naira that year. So 2,000. All right, my mom is here, so she's correcting the fact. So we couldn't pay the 2,000. So we had to agree that I come back to Abeokuta. And so I joined Magjo Grammar School sometimes in October 1996. And after my secondary education, I think some of my friends from high school might be here. I went to Mashood Abla Polytechnic for my OND statistics, then to University of Ibadan for my BSc Maths. And that was after I worked for a few years in Ijemo High School. Then I went to UI to finish my degree. After that, I served in the Day Waterman College. But within my service year, I knew I didn't want to leave that environment. And of course, there were all these, like Yoruba said, all this wahala. He's not a qualified teacher, all those wahala, whether you are good or not, people will say sort of things. So I had to go for my PGD, which is one of the best decisions I made in life. Otherwise, without that, I probably wouldn't be here. And then when I got my last position in Macau, I decided to take the opportunity to do my master's degree program. Currently, I work at International School of Belgrade. It's here in Serbia. I got the position sometimes, I think in April, and my wife and myself moved here sometimes in July. We came earlier than expected, which is fine. So of course, this is my profile on the school website. And everywhere I go, I want the whole world to know that I'm from Nigeria, that I school in Nigeria. I'm not going to say only University of Macau. In fact, if you look at the University of Macau, is just one of them. Every other thing is Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. When the profile was written and was emailed to me that could correct it, I had to include everything that I needed to include. No, people must know that it's a Nigerian. I am also an ambassador of my country wherever I go. So I'm currently, I think I'm going to talk about a position. So this is my current position, MYPDP. It's an IB school. So MYP means, MYP means media program, while DP means diploma program. It's IB curriculum is different. We're going to talk about curriculum as we proceed. My previous position includes School of the Nations, where I worked for 5 years and I met a lot of amazing people. I also worked in De Waterman College, like Mr. Ayorinde said, and like you saw my LinkedIn profile. And I've also worked in Ijemo High School. It was after I left Ijemo High School 2008 that I went back to University of Ibadan. I like to share my story with people so that we can see that things may not be as smooth as possible at first, but if one keeps his focus and know his onions, then things will fall into place. My story began, of course, after I graduated from Mashood Abla Polytechnic, and even during my polytechnic days, I always do is a lesson that we call it tutorial center. And I would go from pillar to pole, trying to just make ends meet and, try to pay school fees. Even in my poly days, when exam is coming, maybe 2 weeks before the exam, try to stop my lessons so that at least I can get half-month salary from my students, most of whom will either not pay or not be able to afford it, but we'll just get it together. Because I know some of them are like me, as poor as church rats then. So, so I'll take 2 weeks off. That was when I started drinking coffee. Take coffee, go to ALE, I think it's AS or ASA in Okelewo, where ICANN students usually study overnight. And then I will do all the study that I'm supposed to have done in the last 3 months. I'll be doing it within a few days, just to make minimum upper credit and just get out. So, but after that, especially when I got to UI eventually, I still believe that I needed more in life. But things were not forthcoming, especially if you do not have the necessary support. I know my mom is doing her best, but she wouldn't do more than she can afford. So it is now expected of me to, declare or define what my future will look like. So with the good relationship that I have with people in the neighborhood, I met a man, the owner of Idera Pharmacy in Abeokuta. Daddy Lukman is what we call it, Mr. Gunyemi. So I met him because my house is just behind one of his Idera pharmacies in Abeokuta. And I used to call me lecturer. So when I first got a lecturer, you must have beaten some student, we joke around that. So Mr. Gunyemi, I went to him one day and I said, sir, I'm now in 300 level. I'm expected to do IT. I know your wife is one of the guys in GT Bank. Please, if you can help me talk to her, I'd like to do my internship. All these stories are connected, which is why I'm telling you this. And he said, well, I will, with what he knows, he will talk to her, but he will not be able to influence. I said, that's no problem. I just need somebody to listen to me. I can't just walk up to a stranger who does not know me at all. So long and short of the story, I served in Guarantee Trust Bank as an intern for a period of maybe about 4 months so that we can at least gather some change, constant salary of 40K. Was it 30,000 they were giving us then? It's better than trying to collect less than 500 every weekend when I come from UI and even the money is not forthcoming. So just to at least focus on my final year. Mr. Aronide, we have another mic on. So,
okay.
So it was in Guarantee Trust Bank that I got to know about D. Waterman College. The D. Waterman College and GT Bank happens to be sister organizations. They were both. Okay, Mr. Isaac, can you mute yourself, please?
I am muting them.
Okay.
Thank you all for the past 16 years.
Oh no. Let's hold on a bit. Mr. Isaac, sir. Okay. Thank you. So it was in Guarantee Trust Bank that I got to know about the Waterman College. I didn't even know. I was just a teller at the front, and I will often notice when people come in from the Waterman, the kind of respect that we give them, the salary they are being given. So teacher can get something like this. I will be shocked. We can marry like then. I will be seeing maybe 100K, 150K. Even the 30,000, 40,000 they are giving us in the neighborhood itself. How can somebody be getting this? And I will see expatriate in hundreds of thousands. So when I started saying that it's Oyinbo people that work there, I said, well, I don't think someone like me can actually be employed. Me that only have my police certificate, and then I have UI. Even the UI itself, I've not finished it. Maybe I will come out with lower, second class lower. I don't even know. So I didn't even put my mind I could ever work in the Waterman College. But of course, I was doing my thing. They called me prof in the banking hall then, because I remember after I had shortage in my first month due to the calculator that I didn't know how to operate, I decided to bring my own scientific calculator to work. So everybody called me prof. I think it was within the first 2 weeks that I would call it Anojewa. You chop base, which means you have money to pay at the end of the month. So anyways, after my service at Guarantee Trust Bank, I went back for my final year. And after my project and everything, I came back. And of course, because I had good working relationship with my colleagues and my ogas, the same madam was already securing a place for me at my request, of course, to serve there. And service then we're supposed to be paid 50,000. I said, if I can do 50,000 within 12 months or 11 months, if I can say, we just speculate that we want to plan. Maybe I can save about 300 or 400K. I want to go and do my master, something about information technology in India. And of course, I know I don't even have money to even get to the airport in Lagos. So to cut the long story short, when I came back, Jonathan was the president then. His administration decided that no more corpers should be taken to the bank. I cannot go back to my neighborhood and just be, all the same lesson. I'm already older, I went to finish my final, my BSc when I was already getting close to, over my 25. So the last thing I want is to start over again. And I've paid my dues. I've been teaching around for almost 10 years. So it's not the time to start from Egbegbele Grammar School again. So luckily for me, I was talking to one of my colleagues in the bank. It was after work hours, but I still, I was still in the banking hall. So the boss of the waterman came in. Those are people that God actually used for me. And I said, prof, yes, sir. And I greeted him, like, are you done? I said, yes, sir. So the colleague that I was talking to is now in US, titled Ogunsanya. And he said, Babolowo, we call it Abama Babolowo, as a nickname then. Babolowo, do you people take coppers in your school? And that was it for me. And the only thing he said was, yes, but you have to go through the vice principal. And luckily, my friend has the vice principal's number because that's the bank that all the Waterman people use. So he has his number. So he called him and he explained to him, he sold me. Of course, he didn't lie. He told him what I could do. He has experience, he's a copper, but this is a teacher before he went back to school and everything. And the man said I should send my qualification and my documents. As at then, I taught one of my aburos, my younger brothers, my cousin actually, is now a first class degree holder in mathematics too. He did American math competition. He was going to a school called African Church Grammar School in Abeokuta. And Afro didn't want to, register any student because they didn't train them in Olympia. But I insisted that my cousin must do it. So I trained him. And luckily, I think he got best results in Southwest and maybe one of the top 3 in Nigeria. So, and that was the beginning of my Olympiad experience because I didn't even know anything about Olympiad myself. I tried to do some Olympiad when I was still in the Gemotitun, but my student came out of the hall. I couldn't even answer the question myself because it was a shock. I thought it was a regular cowbell thing. That was maybe in 2015, 2005, 2006 then. So now that I have BSc, it was easier for me. Those Olympiad evidence, those invitation to the award ceremony that was addressed to me by Professor Sholari then, it was then the DG of NMC. I scanned everything and we emailed it to Mr. William Atto. And he realized that this is a copper, but this is not just an ordinary corps member. And then I was given a chance. Of course, there were some issues too, but eventually God's will prevailed. So I got to Waterman College. And by the time it was getting to the end, I met good people within the system who felt the need to retain me because they thought, this system does not have Olympiad. There's something I want you to take from this story. I saw something that was missing in the Waterman College, which is the extracurricular activity called Olympiad. Coding was not an activity in the Waterman College. Rubik's Cubing was not an activity in the Waterman College. I learned most of those, especially Rubik's Cube from Professor Larry's camp and all that, and I started doing it in school. So before the end of my service year, I was given accommodation on campus. It was November that year, and rather than going home every day, I started living in school and my salary was not reduced. Normally, you're supposed to be getting maybe 20K if you live on campus or 30K if you live outside. I was still giving my 30K. So I was retained eventually, and then I was given the position as a mathematics teacher full-time. And then I spent 4 years there. So within those 4 years, I did my NTI and everything. And of course, that really helped me, which is where I'm going with this. When it was in 2016, I started getting fed up of a lot of things and I thought I needed more. There's a difference between you needing more in life than being greedy. I did my best. I spent 4 years. I saw expatriate coming in. I know they get more benefits, even some of them times 10 of my own basic salary, apart from their own benefit again. And I thought, okay, 4 years later, I spoke with somebody from Kenya and I said, Mr. Bukachi, that's his name. I said, do I need to go and do some of this UK PGC 1 year, spend about 2 million, whatever? Maybe I can squeeze things in, get loans from cooperative and all that to get teacher job abroad. And he said, no. He said, Mr. Daniel, as a matter of fact, you have more than enough. What does your CV look like? What is your education philosophy? When he said, I have more than enough, I was wondering, what is he talking about? He said, you do all these extracurricular, that teaching abroad is not about, I can teach maths or English alone. What else can you do that people do not know about or that people have not been doing. So I said, all the Olympiad, I take students to Abuja, we go for Rubik's Cubing, we go for Olympiad, students become number something in the state or in the nation. That if I have all those pictures, put it in my application, some of them are even in the news on the school website too, that it will help me. And that was how Mr. Bukachi modified my CV. Of course, we did it together. He told me something called educational philosophy. Then I wrote it, he corrected for me, and then I started applying for a job. Then I started looking for agencies too, and I got the right agency, which I will share with you. And that was it. Of course, the agency got in touch with me. I got to the School of the Nation. I spent 5 years there, and it was time for me to leave. I didn't leave because I was looking for more money, which is something else we need to take note of. I was leaving because we're expecting a baby and I need, someone from Nigeria to come in, and Chinese border has been closed. So I thought, okay, I'm going to change my job, and my agency found a new job for me. So the first picture you're looking at was my first second international travel. And the first time I was leaving Nigeria, of course, in 2016. And this you're looking at is probably last month here. So you can see the difference. This is my story. What are the benefits of you teaching abroad? You have opportunity to learn about teaching. We think we know about teaching. Yes, we know about teaching. But trust me, there is so much more to learn. You have that opportunity if you're a teacher abroad. You have better working environment. Better than you can ever imagine, trust me, in some cases. Of course, there are some hostile environments too, if you find yourself in a not so good place, but they are very rare. You have better working environment, better pay in terms of salary and benefits, far better. You have opportunity to travel and learn about other places, places you have been reading about, places you never heard about, people you have been trying, watching in the movie. You have that opportunity as well. And you have opportunity to plan better for your children or child or children, and even for your own retirement. These are the summary that I could see of teaching abroad. To teach, these are the must-have. You must have interest and the ability to teach. Do you have interest? Are you in the teaching profession because there's no money or there's no job? That's one mistake that you can make. If that is not the reason you are into teaching, then teaching abroad is for you. The reason I said it, is money not good? Yes, money is good. But trust me, money comes later and naturally. So if you're interested in teaching, yes, it's for you. Do you have the right qualification? Do you have a degree in the subject that you want to teach and teaching qualification, or just a degree in education in that subject? Of course, if it is subject specific, some people are not subject specific. Maybe I'm a primary teacher. That is not subject specific. You must not have a past criminal record. All these things are taken very seriously as a teacher abroad. Of course, Nigerian police clearance would be required. In some places, they wouldn't even tell you to bring police clearance. Like the place that I'm here now, they didn't even tell me to bring police clearance. They did their own underground research themselves. You must have experience in international curriculum. There is no WAEC or NECO once you leave the shores of Nigeria. I'll talk about international curriculum in a bit. You might be wondering, but I don't have that. How can I go about it? This is why we are here today. We will talk about it. International curriculum, you must have. You must have interest and experience in extracurricular activities. Like I said earlier, extracurricular activity was the major selling point for me. Not because of anything. In fact, the fact that I'm from Nigeria is a minus. The fact that I'm Black is a minus. But my qualification, the things that I do, the extracurricular activities I've engaged students in, these were the major selling points for me. You must have done some CPDs, continuous professional development, with proofs. Maybe if you check my LinkedIn profile, any CPD that I do, whether my school register me for it and I get a certificate, I update my LinkedIn. And that's why when Mr. Unide was showing you my LinkedIn, you will see some things about child safety related something from TES. That is a requirement here. So if I'm applying to a school, maybe in a few years' time now, oh, have you done any training regarding child safety? Yes, and I have the certificate. You must have CPD. Invest in CPD. I know it's not going to be easy, but it is something that must be done. I have CPD from CIE, which is Cambridge International Exam. I have from Harvard Graduate School of Education. It's just online. It's not as if I went to Harvard. It's just a continuous professional development, like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some of them 1 month. And a lot of them, even some of them that are language-based. I'm trying to tell whoever that I'm going to apply to that, I'm interested in the language of your country as well, which is always good. Because parents will then realize that you are willing to settle into the environment, and these are the kind of teachers they want. I'm not saying you should learn language ahead. You don't need to. You must have a good working relationship. You don't have to be friends, but you have good working relationship. If we can do that, sometimes people are not able to differentiate between the two, but we should be able to do that. With the people who will provide you references. Without your reference, it is very hard to sell you. Because remember, these people have never met you. The people that I work with in School of the Nations in Macau, they never met me. They have never seen me before. It was only my application from the agency, my document from the agency, and the good words they heard from the people that I was working with in Nigeria. He's a good person. He does not have problem with children. He has never touched any student inappropriately. He has not done this. He has not done that. Those were the things that would be, that would determine my fate. It was until I got to the School of the Nation that those things were verified, because now I'm working with them. And when I was living there, they were also happy to give me references, not necessarily recommendation, references to the place that I am. And even some of my bosses and my supervisors from the School of the Nation, I wrote some of them again. I'm applying to a new place for social reason. Can you provide me reference? And I think about 2 or 3 of them still provided me reference, even though we are no longer working together. In fact, some of them, the last time I worked with them was 2015, but they were still able to do that for me because of good relationship. If you are the type that you keep to yourself, everything you want to be the first and the only one to benefit, and people know you with that, trust me, when it is time that you need people, nobody will be there for you. If you don't have this good working relationship, this is something you need to start doing now. Teaching abroad is not meant for anyone who is not willing to learn. Now, number 2 is very important because of our own environment. I know we have our religious beliefs and we have ways that we think things must be done. It's not the same abroad. If your mindset cannot change, please stay where you are before you run into trouble with the law, before you have a negative record. So what's going on? Is that from you, sir? Before you have something like a negative on your record. If you cannot respect and you do not respect other people's beliefs, maybe their culture. In Yoruba land now, we say that a child must, prostrate or courtesy to greet parents. Or you both should not come from his country and have problem with that and say, in my country, we just say, what's up, man? What you guys are doing is rubbish. No. The same way, you are not the person that will go out one day and say, like that child is so mannerless. You walk by your teacher, you cannot greet. It's not in their culture. If they say hi to you, fine, they say hi to you. If they don't want to say hi to you, they don't want to say hi to you. We must be able to respect whatever their culture, tradition is. Sexual orientation. I work with people who are not straight. I've worked with people who have husband and husband, wife and wife. It is none of my business. It is their life. If I think they are going to hellfire, that's my own business. That's my own problem. It's not their problem. I'm not going to go to them and face them and say, you are going to hell. Because the Bible says he's never heard of the Bible. And it's not my business. You may have religious beliefs. We should not impose it on people. Anyone who is not focused on the mission at work, I said this earlier, money is not your first target. but money will come, trust me. It is that interest, that energy that I want to see. In fact, it's forbidden indirectly. It's never said loudly. It is forbidden for you to just say, why do you want to leave your place of work? Because I need more money. What that tells your next employer is that the moment somebody else offers you more money, you will go. And trust me, these Oyimbos that I'm working with, some of them, this is what they want, just money. But they will never say it. So when they come, they look at it, there's another place, they have seen good benefit. After 1 year, they are gone. And please do not lie on your CV. So that it will not be a case of what I ordered versus what I received. Remember that joke on the internet? So that school will not say, what did we order? We ordered a good math teacher who said he has done this, he has done the Olympiad, he has taught in Serbia. At the end of the day, because he does not even know how to handle this kind of situation. We must not lie in our CV. I talked about major international curriculum. Mr. Henry, don't worry about the line. Okay. I don't know where it's come from. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's from my end.
But you can actually clean it, sir. Because you are the one sharing this thing now.
The screen.
Yes.
I'm not worried. It's not affecting us. Major international curricula that you will often see that the schools abroad, we want you to have experience in. IGCSE. I think it's International General Certificate or General School Certificate exam or something like that. It could be normal, IGCSE student take at the age of 15, 16. It could be the Cambridge, it could be the A-level that people take at the end of their post-16 education before they move to university. And these are few exam boards that I've heard, and some of them that I've coached students for, teach students for, prepare students for. Cambridge International Exam, which is CIE, we just say CIE, IGCSE. EdExcel, in my school in the Waterman, we do EdExcel, and there's AQA as well. AQA is not so popular, at least in our part of the world. Then the IB. IB is another curriculum. IB has MYP, the PYP, which is primary year program, mid-year program, and DB program. So it's like saying primary school, junior secondary, and senior secondary, something like that. And sometimes country-specific curriculum. So a school might say, do you have experience in international and American curriculum? They might say Australian curriculum. For me as a math teacher, all these things are the same. It's just the delivery, the level. Maybe in a Nigerian curriculum, if we want to do matrices, we must do 3 by 3, inverse of 3 by 3, blah, blah, blah. If you go to maybe another country, maybe their matrices is just addition and subtraction only. It is that level. In some curriculum, it will be harder. In some curriculum, it will be watered down. These are the major curriculum that sells, especially the first two, IGCSE and IB. These are some of the benefits depending on your experience, depending on the school that has employed you. These are some of the experience, the things you might expect. Number one, good salary, like I said. Again, I said you may not have everything. As a first-timer, you cannot have everything. But over the time, things will continue to change and you will be getting packages that will give you more and more. So depending on the school and experience, like I said, good salary. Government subsidy in some place like Macau that I'm coming from, government give us subsidy every month. So they pay us almost my monthly salary at the end of every 4 months. And so we get it in April, July, August, and December. You understand? Then, of course, some schools will give you 13th month salary. In my last school also give 13th month. So when you come back, they call it the enlistment bonus. That is, you come back for the next academic year, they give you your full-time, your salary of the previous year. So if your salary last year was 2,500, you get that 2,500. Maybe the salary has changed this year, you get that one at the end of August when you come back, your first day you show up for work. Now, not necessarily first day, I mean first month. Annual flight. Some of them will give you only, some of them will give you and your family. Usually maximum 2 children. So if I've gone to do plenty children, 5, 10, for example, they just give me 2 for 2 children, my wife and myself 4. So the remaining 6 is my problem, how I'm going to get it. My last school only gives me flight, but this school gives my family flight. So it depends, of course, based on experience and based on the school. Accommodation, some of them will provide housing. In this place that I am, housing was provided. In my last school, they give you some accommodation allowance. Medical insurance, some will be within the country. In my last school, it is within the country, and it's just me. So whether my wife wants to go to hospital is my own headache. But here is not the case. We all have insurance, and it's worldwide. Tuition free, which is subsidized in some cases. In my last school, I think it's subsidized, maybe 50% of staff, of tuition is paid by staff. I think here, of course, my child is not in school. I think here it's free for up to 2 children, as long as you work there. Some will give you shipping allowance, which means if you want to carry all your kaya, they can carry it for you within certain kilogram or whatever weight they use. Some of them will even pay USS luggage. When I was in Daywaterman, those are the things that were done for expatriates. They will ship their things for them. They will, when they are leaving, maybe after. In fact, even some of them will leave not on a good note. It is in the contract. They will still package all their belongings door to door to their houses in the UK. And when I was coming here, all my things were shipped from Macau. They got here safely sometime last month. I just didn't update that. So that's why Mr. Yorinde didn't see it. May 28th, everything was packed. Sometime last month, everything was here. 21 boxes. I didn't pay a dime. And when I'm leaving, if my next destination is in Thailand, everything will be packed to Thailand. If my next destination is Nigeria, everything will be packed to my house in Nigeria, door to door. Again, all this didn't happen overnight. Some of them will give you pension. My last school was 7%. This school is also 7%. They deduct that from your salary. They also pay that as well. So when you are leaving, some have conditions for their pension. Some schools don't do pension. They give you all these benefits while you are working. In fact, they might give you annual bonus. That's for your pension. They might call it end of contract bonus. Instead of doing monthly pension, they do it. My last school doesn't have end of contract bonus, which means end of contract bonus means you sign a 2-year contract. At the end of that 2 years, you are leaving, they pay you something. Some don't do it, some do it. My last school doesn't do end of contract bonus, but they do pension, and they have conditions. If you live within 1 year, you don't get a dime from their contribution, but you can get your own. If you live within 2 years, you get only 20% of their contribution, and everything, of course, everything you contribute is your own. 3 years, I think, was 80%. 4 years and above is 100% of whatever they contribute. But some schools don't do that. In this place now, they do pension, but you cannot access it until you're 55. So if I live in the next 4 years now, until I can prove that I'm 55 years old, I cannot come back and collect my money. But of course, these are trusted, reliable organizations. It's not that somebody will wake up and say, my name is, I don't want to mention names so that somebody does not sue me. All our Nigerian politicians, that somebody has eaten pension money and you will not see what happens. No, it's not like that. When you're 55, you apply, they give you your money back. And it's everything. It's not like they give you every month because I'm not from here. Why should you be giving me every month? In my other schools, some schools will give you paid back of unused sick leave. So sick leave is meant to be maybe 10 in a year, 10 days. I'm sick today in January. Maybe in March, you are sick, you take 2 days, it will be paid. In some places, if you don't use those leave, I've seen some contract like that. If you don't use it, they give you back certain money for everyone that you did not use. Maybe it's paid at the end of the year. Maybe it's paid at the end of your service. I cannot say. Some will give you life insurance as well. Again, these things is not expected, especially as a first timer. Not everything is expected as a first timer. It is after, as you go on, you increase in your qualification, your international experience has increased, then you start seeing more, so-called fat packages, and you'll be amazed what you have in those packages. These are some job side. I hope I didn't miss anything. Okay, no. How do you begin? This is very important, please. Set a target. Don't rush. I always tell everybody that. Set a target. Don't rush. Mr. Daniel is in Belgrade. He's getting good money. In fact, they are paying for his flight. So I'm going to apply because next month I want somebody to be paying for my flight. Foul. Don't rush. Have a target. Okay, I don't have all these things. Okay, I'm going to spend the next 1 year, 2 years to put them together. It's better you drink Gary for those 2 years and set yourself and your family for life after those 2 years. Rome was not built in a day. Have a target and have a timeline. Update your CV. I'll show you some sample CV, of course, from some job sites. Update your CV. If you don't know anything about educational philosophy, do research. Don't ask somebody to send the educational philosophy and copy and paste. There is something called turn it in. They will check where that comes from. Also, update your LinkedIn profile. Let people see what your profile looks like. It's not just our Facebook, Instagram. I'm not saying this, people should not be doing Facebook. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm very, very engaged in social media. My guy can testify to that. If I not post WhatsApp in a week, something is wrong. Is it that I'm too busy with work? I think that happened some times ago. I just got to a new place, it's a new curriculum. By the way, I only have IGCSE experience and DP experience. This is the first place I'm being given MYP experience. How I got that, I think I forgot some, so I'm going to write DP experience now so that I can share some of the points, some of the clues, how that could work for somebody who doesn't have the experience. Okay, I do Facebook, I do Instagram, I do Twitter, I do, we used to do 2Go. I think those ones, I don't even know if I still have the account, but nobody uses that anymore. So I'm saying that, I'm not saying don't use your social media. Have your professional network page too. Let it be professional. If you go to my LinkedIn page, the last time I updated it was when I got here. Immediately I got here, start work, I updated it. And this was the last, these two were the last certification that I did. For this one, in fact, I did it a day before my first day of work because the school policy says you cannot be allowed near the children unless you submit the certificate. And it's not going to cost me a dime. They send the link to me that I should do it before school resumes. But I update it every now and then. So if I want to leave, I'm not going to start all over again and start updating. All I need to do is just add another one to it. And that's it. Okay. Going back here, I said, get your teaching certification. NTI is okay. You don't have to go and do MSc Unilag education. NTI is all I'm using now, my brothers and sisters. NTI weekend course, Saturday and Sunday. And I did it when some people were going to use politics in my place at DWC to throw us out in the name of we are not certified teachers. Of course, even though we are doing a fantastic job and students and parents are giving us the credit. And luckily, sometimes when bad things happen, you'll be thinking, they say when somebody is trying to do you bad, they are pushing you to your glory. How do they say it? It's like that. So some of us had to quickly go and do weekend NTI. And it's from federal government. So yes, it's recognized. So when I write my CV, which I think I should have on this computer, I always put it there, NTI, National Teachers Institute, Kaduna, Abeokuta Center. Maybe I put the Abeokuta Center, maybe I don't, I can't even remember that. Am I making sense? So NTI is okay. Get CPDs, professional development, continuous professional development. Get CPD. I'm going to show you my CV, but I'm trying to remove some sensitive information. Sorry, because this is being recorded. So to avoid any, you understand. Sec, please. Okay, maybe we'll come to that when it is time. Make sure you engage students in extracurricular activities. Now, the problem with some of us is you think your extracurricular activity has to be about your math, English, science all the time. No. What are some of the extracurricular activities that you can do to boost your image and make you more sellable? Do you love singing? Start choir something in your school. Start choir something in your school. Singing club, voice training. Make sure it is something that you know very well and you are interested in, not something that you want to use agility to do. No. Do you love soccer? Gather your students, be the football coach. If the PE teacher is doing gra-gra because they want to be the one to do it, find a way to join their team and say, can I support you guys in a coaching to football? Be maybe the assistant coach or whatever. Just get involved. Play with the students, coach them. And make sure you document all these things. How do you document? If you are going to Graceland to go and do, what's it called? Friendly match, make sure you have picture of the team. If there is any regional soccer match and the team is taking picture in their jersey, make sure you take the picture with them. If they win and they are holding trophy, your players with their jersey are hugging themselves and you are there, make sure you take those pictures, document it. Okay? For me, my own is math competition. So when I got to Ijamotitun High School in 2005, I started the math club. And I will train my students for something called Yaniura Math Club. Yaniura was by Stella, I know not Stella, Yabo Basanjo Bello. She organized that through somebody we call Mr. Smart back then. So just like I have erudites now, so imagine one politician is sponsoring a math competition and I'm organizing it in Abeokuta. So I will train my students for it and we will win. It's always a competition between Ijemotitun then and Abeokuta Grammar School and I think one other school. Like we always meet in the final, like a couple of schools. And so we know ourselves. We always like, I'm going to win this year, and we had fun. I met good people. And when I got to, all those competitions really helped me to get to Day Waterman. And when I got to Day Waterman, then I got to know about Rubik's Cubing. I introduced that. By the time I was leaving University of Ibadan, I already learned the Java program. So I started doing coding club in Java in school because I love computer. And I was teaching students how to do simple, arithmetic using Java programming language. I didn't know more than, and a beginner too, but at least my students are novice too. So I was teaching them the only beginner thing that I know, and it was fun for them. And I put those things on my CV. And that really helped me, trust me. It could be drama that is yours. It could be cultural dances that is yours. Something that the student will love. In fact, I've seen some ridiculous, in quotes, extracurricular activity. What? Mr. Aronide, that thing that they used to weave clothes, what is it called? They will use is it thread and something? They will use it to weave clothes. All those grandma used to do it.
Yes. But I can't remember the name now.
But I think our people understand. Somebody was doing it in my school as an extracurricular activity.
Maybe talking hand. Is it talking hand?
No, Mr. Isaac got it.
Okay, knitting. Okay.
Somebody was doing it. Extracurricular activity. You will never have guessed that is something to engage the children. I was in Rubik's Cubing. How to do, but I've forgotten that one now. I've never done it in over 5 years, so I forgot. But it was so fun. I took my students to Abuja. They were trying to break the record of largest. We did largest math class with Professor Sholari. I was with my student there. I took them. We did a Rubik's Cubing. Largest number of people that saw Rubik's Cube. We attempted that record. We couldn't, but the largest math class, we broke the record that day. Involved in extracurricular. Not necessarily maths, English, science all the time. If it is science club you want to do it. But if it is something arts, you like to draw, maybe you like to draw, I don't know what they call it in art, where you look at your environment, you want to draw the streets. You can have 1 or 2 students after school, and you train them to do it if you know how to do it. And then anytime you do those things, take record. Find a school and get IGCSE experience. A couple of friends got in touch with me regarding this over the past few months, and I tell them the same thing. If you don't have IGCSE experience, IB experience, find a school. Now, there are schools who are doing WAEC and the national, maybe I call it national curriculum instead of WAEC and NECO. Our national curriculum and IGCSE curriculum. There are some schools that are doing that. Some schools are not big schools yet, in quotes. You don't need that school to be big. You just need on your CV that you have trained students for IGCSE for about 2 years. You might get lucky with 1 year experience, but ideally 2 years. Most applications you will see will say minimum 2-year IGCSE experience. And have a record. Oh, my team produced 100% A star to C in IGCSE mathematics. Those are the things that you need. I put in brackets, even with low pay. I have a brother, I'm not going to mention name, who was on maybe about 50 to 60 in one of those schools that I was talking about in a city in Nigeria. I'll put it that way. And because he was doing their national curriculum and IGCSE curriculum, so he was coming from a normal national curriculum environment. So they offered him a job in that school. He took it. And he got in touch with me. What can I do? I said, start Olympiad. He was doing Olympiad because he's also passionate about math. That's why I said he should start it. So I will provide him information. He joined our SAMU then as well. And then after a few years, he built that experience. And when I was leaving my former school, I told him, okay, there's an application in my school. When I checked the website, there's no vacancy. I said, I'm about to create one because I'm resigning tomorrow. Why are you leaving? I said, okay, calm down. I'm not leaving if I'm not going to a better place. I'll tell you later. He has left that place now. He has gone to another bigger place. In fact, he is now the head of department and some other position where he is now. Why was he taken in my school? In fact, I told him, I said, don't mention name that you know me. Because if you mention name, the so-called enemies in code that I have will not even let you get to the interview stage. But make sure you put your CV together and everything. Send me your CV. He mistakenly put me as reference. I say, oh God, when they see my name as reference, some people will not approve. They will say, this guy that did not let us get away with something, has implanted his brother or whatever there. He came, they saw his CV. He has experience with Olympiad of various forms. He has gone to Abuja and everything. And they say, if Daniel is leaving for China, we need another Daniel in quotes. Somebody that can fill in that position. And he was a perfect candidate. And that's how they gave him the job. And after, I can't remember many years, he moved to a better place. And now he's in a bigger position. The day he called me and said he's head of math, I say, hey, see my life. I'm not even head of anything. This guy has become head of math where he is. You understand? But how did he get that? He went to a so-called partly local, partly IGCSE school. He got IGCSE experience with his extracurricular, and he was a perfect candidate to replace someone who has the same whatever in Baywater Man when I was leaving. And so he got that opportunity. And after doing that important something, maybe let's say he spent about 3 years in Baywater Man now. That means he could say that I have 5 years GCSE experience. The next school took him, they gave him better money too. He was telling me that time, he said, they're asking for my pay slip, say they will not short pay me. I can't even remember how we sorted that one that time. Eventually, they gave him good money. And now he's even getting better money. Of course, his best is yet to come. Build professional network and relationship with people. I've said that before, especially your supervisor. They will be the one to write your reference. They will be the one. This is how you can begin, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep noting your question. I'm almost done with this, then we can talk about it. These are the platforms. Those ones that I put asterisk require payments. Others are free of charge. Number one, especially, is my own agency. It's free. You might be wondering, how can it be free? I always look for job. People will tell me to go and bring money. My sister, my brother. Far. They want to buy you new. And you don't have to know anybody to get a job. In fact, apart from the fact that because some people are in the leadership and they not like me, when they try to get you and they could not get you, and you are not leaving the job to go to Lagos or, some people were hearing that Daniel is about to leave then. But the day they heard that he's going to China, hey, everybody was shocked. So the last thing they want is somebody like Daniel to come in. So I told my guy, I said, Oga, don't mention my name. Don't let them even know you know me. Another reason I said it is so that he will know that he's getting the job, not because he knows me, but he's getting the job because he deserves the position. And it has nothing to do with knowing me. And there is little or nothing I could have done. Sorry, my other computer is telling me no battery, so I'm trying to apologize. Do you understand? That it deserved the job. So that he will not come and be giving me glory. Like, if not for you, it is you that God used. No, you did it yourself, and you deserve what you are getting. Teacher Horizon, I'll tell you about Teacher Horizon, especially I can speak for them. In fact, I have one of the last person that processed my application. I have her on my WhatsApp today. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to plug this computer before it goes off. Few seconds, please.
While we are waiting for him, I believe we are already getting value. And just as he's mentioned over and over, get your questions. While he was speaking with me before we start, just a couple of minutes before this, he told me that he's actually cleared like 3 hours of his day. So you can have all the access today. Thank you. I believe he's back.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, Teacher Horizon, I'll tell you more about Teacher Horizon, but let's go through all of them. TES is mostly a UK is mostly UK-based company, I think. So it's sometimes it's difficult to get people like us job, because sometimes their kind of job does not favor people like us. If a school gets in touch with you, which they might, one of the schools that I got this summer, I got it from TES. They are in Dubai. But one thing that was a red flag for me, because they were being nice from the beginning and everything, I did I was asked to send a video to explain why I want the job. We'll talk about that. If anybody gets to that stage, feel free to email me. I also got help from people, so why not just give the same help? Okay, make a video 5 minutes or maybe sometimes 2 minutes, why we should employ you and things like that. So some of them you do research, what have people done, what should your background look like, and how should you dress and whatnot. But at the end of the day they were going to give me the job, the first thing they asked is for me to send my passport. And that was a red flag. You shouldn't give me a contract on the basis of my nationality. That is wrong anywhere. But guess what, my brothers and sisters? It's because I've gotten to a level that I can do younger. If they ask me the same question in 2016, send your passport before they send contract, my brother, I go send them. Eventually, when they send me the contract, I could manage the pay because I just want to get out of Macau with my pregnant wife. Because most people didn't know that was why I left until we announced the baby. Even Mr. Unity, I'm sure, was shocked. That was why we left. Macau has been closed. My wife is pregnant. I need to be able to access Nigeria and Nigerian people to be able to come. And so I need to change my job. So despite the fact that I mentioned this, every opportunity they ask me and every stage of interview, and even in my application on TES, there will be something like reason for leaving. These people send me a contract and everything will just self-only. Medical, self-only. Flight, self-only. Accommodation, shared apartment, 1-bedroom apartment. These people, they don't know that I say I'm expecting a baby. 1-bedroom apartment. And the one that was the, how do I call it now? The height of it for me was visa related, self-only. I said, so you process visa for me. I'll be the one trying to struggle to process stay for my wife and child or children. I said, no, this place is not for me. And I know deep down that if my passport was America or UK, it will not be that stringent. So they sent it on, it was at a Thursday, maybe it was 14 or 15 of April. That was on Thursday, I remember. And Friday is public holiday, and it's weekend in Middle East, and Saturday is weekend. Sunday is when their own week starts. They asked me to reply latest by Sunday. As I was going home, I took a screenshot. I sent to my wife. I said, you that you want Dubai, you see what these people are offering me, this rubbish they're offering me. She said, no, in fact, let's focus on Belgrade now. Within 2 hours, I replied them that I'm no longer interested. Of course, politely. I said, what kind of rubbish is this? So you might get opportunity in TS. You might get opportunity that will be like they're just treating you anyhow. Don't be surprised, but please make use of it. Like, what have you got to lose if you get something, right? I left Teacher Horizon for a purpose, because that is one I can really talk about. Explore CRS is another site that I've used. I met them through the next one called DPoint. DPoint in 2016, and after Mr. Bukachi helped me tweak my CV and everything, I got 4 jobs altogether, 4. I think we did all those tweaking in May, and by the end of June, I got 3 jobs already. The first job that came was from a school in Kuwait. Teacher Horizon didn't process that, but Teacher Horizon always advertise jobs that are not their own job. When I say their own job, this is how Teacher Horizon and some of these agencies work. They are in good relationship with schools, international schools, who trust their judgment. So once they see a viable candidate, they will interview the candidate. I have some past emails, if I'm able to open it. They will interview the candidate. They will get to know why you want to leave, what have you got to offer, blah, blah, blah. They will guide you. Once they are convinced of your credibility and everything, they are now your lawyer, which you are not paying for. They'll be the one selling you to those schools. Okay? I can copy some of these things in the chat so that we're not writing too much. And of course, I can make the slide available in PDF format. Okay? So they will do all that. Once they start selling you to school, they will also on their website, they will now put, this is not Teacher Horizon job, to process, but they found it on the school website, applied from the school directly. So they have jobs like that. So the first job that came was in Kuwait, which I saw on their website, but not their own job. Miss AB, can you please unmute yourself, ma'am? Thank you. Okay. Can we get, yes, you will get the slide. You will get the slide, sir. You will get it. I can see your comments. You get the slide. Don't worry. There's no point talking about all these things and you're not providing the slide eventually. That's the idea. And even my guy is recording this meeting, which he will also provide. So my second job came from, so Teacher Horizon that year processed 3 jobs for me. School of the Nation, African Leadership Academy in South Africa. There's a school in Jerusalem. They asked me, are you a Christian? The school only wants a Christian. I said, no, wala. Some schools might be in the Saudi that will say it's one Arabic school and they only want Muslim. So no problem. It is what people want. As long as you are not imposing your own on people, just let people do their thing. I said, yes, I'm a Christian. So they processed that. And there's a school in China. But the China school didn't work. The Jerusalem school didn't work. The South African one, African Leadership Academy, worked out. African Leadership Academy, that's what we call ALA. And the School of the Nation that I eventually worked in Macau. Macau is not China, but Macau is China. It's another explanation entirely, but you can Google it. We call it Macau SAR China, Special Administrative Region. Macau has no president. They have chief executive. President Xi is still the president of Macau, Hong Kong, and China. But it's a political, whatever, just read it. That's their own system. So my point is, Explore CS. So DPoint gave me a job later. I don't know. I think while searching, I went to DPoint as well. I signed up. So they gave me the last job in August. So the first job, Kuwait. Second, the ALA in South Africa. I couldn't take Kuwait because I wasn't convinced. ALA in South Africa, the pay was not so good. And I didn't want, if you want to leave Nigeria now. Which one is these people are offering me something? And my mind wasn't just there. So I knew it wasn't meant for me. And they tried to convince me, tried to increase some things and whatnot, because they've heard so much about me from some Olympiad past students who is a scholarship student there. But it's not like a well-funded school because students don't pay. So they are not going to give so much. They can't afford so much. So the third job that came was the School of the Nation in Macau that I went for. And all these were between sometimes middle of May and before the end of June. Because I told Macau, I said, I need to give my school 1 month notice. So they need to decide before the end of June. And that's one thing that I was coached to say, that whenever they ask you, is there a question? Of course, what question do I have? Should I be asking them, hey, are you going to be paying me every 28th of the month? Are you going to be like, those are irrelevant stuff. I'm not going to be asking those. Some people probably want to ask it, but what does it say about my person and why I want the job? So the only thing I ask is, how soon can I know your feedback? The reason I'm asking is because I need to resign professionally. And then day waterman requires 1 month notice. So if the school academic year ends in July, I need to give them notice by end of June. And that was why I only mentioned that. So while I was processing to go to Macau, the visa was being delayed. D-Point got to see my profile. Eventually, they interviewed me. In fact, I was in front of EcoBank in Abeokuta when they said, can I interview you now? And I said, I wasn't told, I'm not dressed. So it was a t-shirt and a mobile phone that I was talking to the Alga. And they sent me contract, but I couldn't take that. In fact, they kept pestering me to ditch Macau, not to go there. Macau is not China, blah, blah, blah. I said, I've already signed this contract in June. I'm only being delayed because of my passport and the visa processing to go to Macau. They have already removed vacancy on their website. It is not right for me to just tell them, sorry, I cannot come anymore. The man will keep pestering. So I asked him one question. That was when he left me alone. I said, what would you do if I sign your contract? You told your students about me. They're expecting that math teacher from Nigeria. And 2 months later, you've gone on holiday. You are now back from your holiday. The man is now mentioning to you that he's not able to come. You are back to square one. What would you do? How would you feel? What would happen to your system? It was short of words. And they were going to give me better package, actually. A little better than Macau then. And they said, we really appreciate this. We respect you, whatever. We'll get in touch the following year. And truth be told, by June 2017, they sent me an email if I want to move. But of course, I said, I've started my master's program in Macau. I will be here, and my wife is coming to meet me this year, so I won't be coming, but I'll keep your contact for future. So D-Point and Explore Whatever have some relationship. I still don't know what relationship they are, but I knew Explore CRS from D-Point Education. E-Teach, I don't know how I got to know them. I can't remember. You search a lot of things when you're looking for something. But I know till today, they still send email. When they look at their database and the shortage of staff somewhere, I get those emails. Are you looking to change job or whatever? Here are some vacancy. They tell me the country and everything. And usually I take screenshot, put on my status or forward to some friends. Search Associate and ISS are paid. I use ISS this year. Maybe I paid some $5, I can't remember. I paid. Search Associate, I was told you only pay when you get the job, or maybe after you pay, you don't get the job, or after you pay, they have to get you a job. I can't remember, but I never paid for Search Associate. But yes, you have to pay for those last two. LinkedIn is another place. It will shock you that a lot of jobs are posted on LinkedIn, international jobs. Especially in China, maybe because of my location there, so it gives me some information from China. Oh, they are looking for math teacher, English teacher, something. But sometimes they put some conditions that we cannot meet. Must be a native English speaker, even though we are more or less native English speaker, but we are not considered native English speakers. In fact, sometimes we call them out on LinkedIn that they are racist. Like, what do you mean you need a native English speaker to teach math? Just look for someone who could speak English, and you can know that when you interview them. Just tell us you are looking for Oyinbo. So we call them out. People like Search Associate, ISS, they remove those clauses. They said they are not working with schools that put that clause again. So they remove it. They just want people to have equal chance. Things are changing, but it's not the same yet. I remember when I applied in 2016 and Teacher Horizon Director Alexis is his name. I think he was the founder and director of the agency. When he interviewed me, he said, Daniel, I have to tell you the truth. It's going to be difficult because you're an African and because, of course, because you're an African means because you're Black and you're from Africa. He said, well, I will try. He said, they are trying to break barriers. It's becoming possible, but it is slow. He said, but one thing is this, once you get your first international job, it is easy to get subsequent ones, but it will be difficult. You just need me to know. And they, as an agency, it is their duty to make sure that there are, they believe there are talent in Africa, but the world has not given them a fair platform to access these jobs outside. Because what is special about one Oyinbo from Australia or Canada, that they just give job and pay good money, and I am somewhere in Abeokuta and I cannot get the same thing, even though sometimes I may even be able to do a better job. But the fact that I'm from a certain place, I've been written off already. So some agencies that are international agencies are already removing that clause, must be native English speaker. Is that any school that require that, they don't want to work with them anymore. And when Alexis said it in 2016, I really appreciate. And of course, I got the job without being Oyinbo eventually. But by the time I got to Macau, Alexis' postcard already reached Macau. Congratulations and welcome, Alexis. Teacher Horizon postcard. I'm like, wow, these people are so, and I didn't pay that. From what I heard and what I understand, they get paid by the school based on the candidate they have given them. So they are not charging me anything. So I hope this makes sense to us so far. So please make sure you have LinkedIn profile. Build good connection with people on LinkedIn. Jobs will be advertised. People will share on their status. Apply. Now, here is what I am not and what I cannot do. I'm not an expert, even in everything I have said. I've only had, how many years international school? 4 + 5, 9. This is my 10th year in international school. Some people have been teaching international school before I was born. So I'm not an expert. I am not someone who could influence any application, even if I work in that school. So if somebody applied to my school today, I cannot influence. Let's be realistic. Because international schools and Oyinbo environment don't work like that. You know who. People recommend, yes. Sometimes there might be internal vacancies. In my last school, they had something like that. They would tell us in a meeting, we are looking for English teacher. If you know anybody, please feel free to tell them to go to the school website. Because sometimes we don't even know when the leadership decide that they need extra hand. If Mr. Aronide is leaving the department as a fellow maths teacher, and he did not tell me, how will I know? But he would have told the HR will have informed the Oga will have said, yeah, start processing. And if you work in a place, you're not going to be going to the school website vacancy every time now. What are you going to do there? So it is only when they share that information, then we fall to find, check this out if you are interested. But it doesn't mean we are in that board meeting and we say, no, this one is my brother. We go to the same mosque together. No, he's a brethren from my fellowship. No, that doesn't cut it. Some of those nepotism and whatever is the reason the Oyimbos don't trust us till today. Because eventually we now, have a situation whereby the person that was recommended cannot do the job. So at the end of the day, now everybody that's coming from Africa is fake. Look at our COVID vaccination card. It's not recognized in some countries. You bring card that you are fully vaccinated in Nigeria. They see you as unvaccinated. They tell you to do quarantine 14 days, blah, blah, blah. Because that paper could have been something that you paid someone in Lagos to write for you, and you have not been vaccinated. You know how people just get things easily. We have the phrase, and say, you live in Nigeria, anything is possible. But in both, no. So for someone who is still aspiring to go further in the career, I don't do this. In fact, it is not even possible. The last thing I want is to give my Oga the impression that he does this nepotism of a thing, because I don't even know anybody to get the job myself. So they are not that kind of a person. They can only say, Daniel, do you have any maths teacher from anywhere? Tell them to apply. As they have told me, they have told someone from Australia, someone from Germany, someone from Korea, and everybody might have told their brothers. and let all the brothers apply. Given that information is what we can do, sufficient. Not changing things, giving someone undue advantage, or lying to make things, no. That's the second thing that I wrote there. And inverse of that, I'm not someone who could block any application. So if I don't like Mr. Irene and he applied to my school, I'm not in that position. That's even if I know that he applied. Some people will apply, and I can remember then in School of the Nation, they said they were looking for math teacher, and I told people. Some applied, and they told me eventually that they applied. So I just wanted to put that as well. This is my contact and that of Mr. Irene. One of my emails, I use this for general stuff, but I check it is on my phone. So no worries. If you have any question, feel free to contact me or Mr. Irene as well. I wanted to talk about this Teacher Rising, like I said. So I'm going to go to the website and show you some things. So this is Teacher Rising website. I don't know if my password is still saved on it. Yes, it's still saved on it. All right, so this is my account. If I go to my profile, you see Daniel, right? If I go to my profile, my dashboard, because I already have a job now, I should have said not looking for a job or something. It will be somewhere. Okay, see, updated last April 2021. Okay, do later. So if I'm looking for a job, go to Teacher Rising. Okay, let's even say I want to edit my profile. Yeah, so they ask you for your preference and everything, you know, whatnot. Okay, view profile. Yes, this is the one I wanted to see. Can you see? Not currently looking. I put that off already. And my Teacher Rising has a own CV, which I can show you. Teacher Rising CV is this one. Teacher Horizon has their own CV. You can always go and say Teacher Horizon sample CV to take you to that page. Once you download that sample CV, open it, and they have a guide. Can you see the CV, or are you seeing something else? Oh, you cannot see the CV. Okay, my bad. Let me see if I can share that, because that's one, at least I know about this agency. So I wanted to really emphasize on this one. So this is what Teacher Horizon sample CV looks like. This is Alexis, of course. So they will give you a guide. You can see that here. You can see the guide here by the side. There's a note to help you for each stage. There's a note. Hyperlink the school, blah, blah, blah. Keep short, you know, not too much. They give you a guide. Just follow that sample that has been provided. Okay. So Teacher Horizon has that. When you're done, they tell you to just put to be supplied, because they have their own system where you supply these things. So there's no need to tell the school to contact Mr. Unity as my reference. So Teacher Horizon is the only agency that I know that provide a sample of what your CV should look like. And so I did my own, you know, as like that. I think I opened my Teacher Horizon CV earlier, or maybe not. Okay, this is my Teacher Horizon CV. So based on what they have provided, I came up with mine and I reduced, you know. This is for Teacher Horizon, not what my regular CV looks like. So if I'm leaving this place now, I'm going to have to edit this Teacher Horizon CV, because now I have to put current employment as International School of Belgrade, and School of the Nation will come to recent employment history. And you can see, I put the house for major achievement and responsibility. I put all of them, at least most of them, if not all. This is what I've done with my student to win this, win that. In the German title as well, I put it. And I even put GT Bank. I put my publication, whatever. I sold myself as well. You understand? I want to sell myself. I put my tutu there so they know that I'm not FICO. My skills, I put CPD that I've attended. I put my extracurricular activity that I'm interested in. I put my examiner appointments. I co-authored. This was this paper is a combined effort of myself, my professor, and one other master's candidate. So it's a joint stuff. My thesis, his thesis, and my professor's research area was combined to for this paper. So, and as God we have it, we have that. So this is my own CV on Teacher Rising. Okay. And of course, it's the same as you will see on LinkedIn. Nothing addition. So if I'm looking for a job, after I do all this, you have to provide reference. If I go to references, for example, see, these are the people that provided me references. This woman was my principal in Daywaterman. This was my middle school administrator in School of the Nation. You see, this is my director from School of the Nation. One of my colleagues in Daywaterman, one of my colleagues in School of the Nation. You must have those. They only need 3. Look at how many I was able to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. They need 3. I give them 6. But which one has more weight is this one. My director. That's the one that has more weight. And when I got the email that, oh my God, your director reference was great, I knew it. Of course, they will ask for supporting information. Can you see? They even asked me for videos. I put my, link to my YouTube so that anybody who is interested in me can see, things that I have done with my students. I've tried to select some of my classes and put it there. Do I have any recommendation letter? You see, national award for my students, I put it there. Police clearance, the only one that I have, I put it there. Reference letter, this was old one from Daywaterman, I put it. Teaching license, I put my PGD. My teaching philosophy, I put the one that I wrote there. And my university degrees, of course. I put my BSc, my diploma, MSc, that's it. Okay, and of course, they asked me to do checklist. What can I do? Google Classroom, interactive whiteboard, manage back. I only put things that I know. Things that I know only. Let's see the key details. So all these things, you complete them. You see, SON, Daywaterman, Ijamotitun, And finally, okay, never mind. There's nothing here. So if I'm looking for a job, all I have to do is go to jobs. So let's see if we are looking for a job today now. What location do you want? If you don't have a location in hand, don't put it. Region, if you don't have, don't put it. If you want to go anywhere. The subject, so I'm going to put math. Role, I only want a teacher. I'm not a guy yet, so I put maybe teacher or something. I think it will be called secondary teacher. Yeah, subject, okay, secondary subject teacher. Okay, academic system. Which one? International, American, British? Okay, maybe I wouldn't put this one so that anything. So in terms of when can you start? Maybe I want to start next January because I'm on a job. I want to leave the job in December. Job type, do you want Teacher Rising supported or external? I don't mind any. I'm not going to put that one. And you see, it says 20 international school job match your search. Now I want the list. Did you see this? Okay, Shanghai, Morocco, another one in Asia, China, in Brazil. And I can now take my time, go through them one by one. So we're just going to pick one. IBAI. Of course, I don't teach AI, I teach AA. And then we put it there. Salary range from this to this, so yearly after tax. Which means this is like say 1.5 to 2,000 US after tax. I will not be interested in this, even if I don't have a job. Sometimes they say they recognize qualification from this country. Some will put order, which means if your qualification is from Nigeria, they don't know, maybe it's from Oluwole, for example. So they probably wouldn't. But even when I see these things, I still click apply. I'm interested. You will not come to my house and beat me. Worst case scenario, you will not get in touch with me. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. I'm just going to take one last one. Sorry. I hope I'm not going to deviating. Let's say high school subject teacher in Saudi Arabia. If you don't have a problem with going to that place, and they put it, some of them, salary to be discussed. They won't put it there. You see, benefit, flight allowance, yearly, relocation allowance, start and end, 90%, kiniko. So they put all these things there for you to see. Okay. Salary and benefits is here. There is additional 50% in the country. You will see necessary details. So you are not just entering into a contract blind. But what does China job looks like? Let's see, this is a China job. This one, can you see? Oh, salary range from 225 to 36. So that means between 2,000 plus and 2,000 plus and 3,000 pounds per year, per month, before tax. And but there's tax of say 20%. So you look at it yourself. Do you want other benefits are there? Flight allowance, placement for your children, discounts. At least a discount on school fees. They will place for staff children. It means no matter what, your children will have place in the school. Laptop allowance, private health insurance scheme. What experience do they need? What do they need? They need your bachelor's degree. They need your teaching qualification or certification. Can you say at least 2 years? It's always at least 2 years. Teaching senior high school, UK Key Stage 3, which is the normal. So that is why this curriculum is very important. Anyway, so that is Teacher Horizon for you. I do not have much experience with others, but I am very positive of Teacher Horizon, which is why I emphasize that separately. Question time. And if there's any, I wanted to mention something before I take questions. Remember, I was talking about this curriculum the other time, DP. What does IB mean? This is IB. It's like our A level and all those things, but A level is for someone that's going to university. IB is a curriculum that starts from primary. IB philosophy is different from the way others do things. And IB is one of the things that is most sought after in some of these international and universities abroad. Especially if you are going to maybe the likes of US or other places. Your SAT is probably just America. But IB is, I think, is in America. Switzerland is headquarters. So IB is recognized even more than those ones. Okay. Now, IB has 3 programs: MYP, PYP, and DP. Okay, MYP, PYP, and DP. Of course, I have my own account here. So if I log in, you see there are program community, but not every school. As you see, this is PYP, primary years program, mid-years program, and diploma program. These are the main ones. So these are primary school, middle school, of course, secondary. This one is just for 2 years, just like our A levels. And this is something that they also want in some of these schools. So when you see on the Teacher Horizon, they're saying the mathematics teacher, you see IBMYP, that is IB mid-year program. That's the teacher they are looking for here. In some places, you will see IBDP. middle school mathematics. You know, if we continue to go on and on, I'm sure we'll see a lot of IB. So if you have IGCSE and IB, you are hot cake. But I did not have my own IB before I left the Waterman. But when I went to School of the Nations, School of the Nation is having both IGCSE up to Form 4. Form 4 is our grade, this form and grade in a while. Form 1 is grade 7. So Form 4 will be grade 10. Yes. Let's say SS1. Even though our SS1 can be tougher than some of their IGCSE curriculum. Okay. Then when a student leaves Form 4, you go to Form 5 and Form 6, which is the last 2 years of your senior high school. You do IB program. So my school, my former school, has both IGCSE and IB. I was employed as a middle school mathematics teacher, just like someone coming to teach GSS, even though that would be the least of what I want to teach. But I had to take the job because the pay was good. It's a better working environment. I want to have international experience. Even if the pay was not good, I don't mind taking it. Because I know that if I spend 2 years at least in that place, good working condition and everything, I can get better job. So after 1 year in my school saw the need that, okay, this guy is good. We can try him with senior class. Remember, my qualification says, my CV and everything says I've been teaching both junior and senior. We call it Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 in the Waterman. But even that was not enough. Although the only position available then was a middle school mathematics teacher. And I took the job. So my following year, there was need for someone to take IGCSE class, especially early entry. So the guy in charge gave me that. In my former school, you don't know your timetable until you come back. Because when you come back in August, they tell you this is your class for this year. And when I got that, I taught them that year. You will see some video on my YouTube channel saying 2000, I don't know, about 3-4 years ago, YouTube videos. Those guys are the ones in the university now. Then they were in Form 3. Form 3 will be grade 9. And then they were in grade 9. So I taught them. The year after that, so I was given, instead of 3 middle school classes, like instead of giving me 3 GS classes, so I was given like 2 GS classes, 1 senior class, kind of. So that senior class happened to be SS1, kind of. Then they still didn't trust me, in quotes. I'm not saying they did not trust. They still didn't want to test me with the IB because, of course, I don't know anything about IB. So why should they give me that? The following year, I was given IGCSE again. So making my 3rd year in the school. The year after that, I've already started my master's. My guy knew I was doing master's in pure math again. He knew that I was writing paper. They were having conversation every day. I wasn't pestering and saying, if you can only just give me this, trying to do eye service. No. But every November, the school will give you a form to write what you wish to teach next year. But it's not guaranteed that you'll be given. I always write it there. I want to teach IB. I want to teach IB. And I will always talk to the IB teachers too, check what they are doing. Because teaching IB is quite different from how we teach. So it's not like you just stay in front of the board and you talk for 1 hour, lecturing style. In fact, IGCSE is not taught like that. Students are meant to be part of it. If possible, flip it. Let the student take lead. That's another discussion for another day, which is why that experience is very, very important. It's not let them go and cram it and come and put it down. No. They're involving projects. Let me see if I can find a project that I gave my students recently, so you can have some understanding of what the IB program looks like. Quadratic project, modeling with quadratic. Okay, here is it. 1 second, please. If you can see my screen now. I'm trying to check on the other screen. Can you see modeling? Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the project I gave my students on the 13th. They're going to submit on the 27th. Model a real life situation, quadratic function. And it's not like I gave them an example of how to do it. I will just have to give the guide. You will create a quadratic function that will model it. I asked them to go to Desmos, insert their image, and do whatnot. And then they follow all these instructions. They have to do, I want them to experiment all these vertex that I've been talking about theoretically in real life situation. And then this is success criteria. You have to describe the object, These are grade 10 students, MYP, media program. That's the last year of the MYP. They are going to the diploma program. They're going to write something called exploration in diploma program. We call it internal assessment, mathematical exploration. Okay, they're going to do that. It's just like writing a research paper, mini research paper in all subjects. Then IB requirement also, that IA is 20% of the IB grade. They're going to do something called extended essay. That's like their own thesis. But they will choose any subject that they want. See if I can find any of the extended essays. So this is why IB is, special. If I may put it that way. I will show you some sample EE that students have written in the past, according to IB. So, but in order to prepare them ahead of that, there's always project and things like that. And IB is not graded in percentage. IB is graded based on criteria. So it's not something that we are normally used to. And that criteria, if I can find it, I'll project that. So you see, I didn't have all this experience until I got to the School of the Nation. And when I got to the School of the Nation, I didn't have it immediately. It was later that my Oga said, okay, this guy is doing masters in maths. He has good stuff, even more than, better than before, right? Okay, let us try him with, these things now. Let us start giving him something that he has not done before. Then we'll continue to guide him. He knows what he wants to teach. Let us now train him on how to teach it in the IB way. And that was the beginning of, what I would say I am doing now. And the diploma program is still straightforward because it's like teaching A-level students. Even though that, you have to do a lot of investigation. For example, there was one investigation that I gave my students, inverse function, when I was in my former school, School of the Nation. Rather than give them the answer, I tell them to, do something on decimals, comment on what they observe. For example, I'll give you an example. I'm a math teacher. I'm sorry if you are not a math teacher. To maybe give students inverse function now, for example, that the graph of a function and its inverse, they reflect on each other about the line y is equal to x. Things like that. In our normal curriculum that I'm coming from, I will come to class and just describe all those things. I expect the student to memorize it. But in IB, you don't do that. You give them guided question like the one I'm projecting now. And in that guided question, they will have to discover something. You tell them to discover it themselves. And then you can now add more details to it. It's always a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of typing, a lot of, because you have to think ahead. They're not going to be paying you £2,000 per month just to come to class and write and go. No. And then IB does not grade based on percentage. It's based on this descriptor. So when I mark a paper, I will put criteria C, I give you level 4. Criteria D, I give you level that. Some of these I'm still struggling to understand how it is done. So trust me, you are not alone. This is a sample of extended essay. This was written by students from United World College. This is the title of his paper. It's a mathematics of, can the whole field grow into weed? This is the name of the student. This was May 2007. He has an abstract. And then he come up with a lot of stuff. Introduction, These are called exceptional extended essays. So I pick it from exceptional one. And this is somebody that is just graduating high school. Everybody is expected to pick one subject area and write an extended essay. Of course, there are guidelines from IB. This is how IB. This is another one. A game theoretical analysis, blah, blah, blah. There's so many of them like that. So in order for students to be able to do this in their diploma program, just like during their A-level days, they need to be prepared ahead. which is why, we always train them that way. Okay, so it was my ogas that gave me the opportunity to do those things. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't even know how to do it. But okay, you are now doing analysis, you are doing a lot of things. Okay, why don't we try you with these things? Okay, then we'll support you with necessary things. And that's it for me. And that was it. Finally, this is a sample of my CV, I think the current one. I put my IB because I applied to be an IB examiner and I was given in January. I'm still going through training. I hope to mark in November. But if I don't mark in November, I'll probably mark next year. I applied for Cambridge as well, sometime in 2019. So this is my current scope. What I'm doing, I don't have enough yet because it's just 2 years, just 2 months, or even less than 2 months. But this is my previous scope. And I put my major CPDs. Okay, I'm going to add the other one because after the child protection, I did another one, which is on my LinkedIn. I'm going to add it. I removed some that are not relevant. I had something from 2005. I removed it because 2005, like that's now old. I put all this language training. If I do Serbian training, I'm going to add it to my CV and say Serbian, blah, blah, blah. I do math and coding. I want everybody to know that that's my interest. I did a community service, like a volunteer to teach some Chinese students in my car with my wife, of course. I always put it there in my CV. And I put my references. It's not the best CV in the world, but that's what my CV looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, we can now take questions. If Mr. Yorinde could lead on that so that people can ask their question. 2 ways I would suggest. We can either type in the box if we have questions, or we could maybe raise hands. I think there's a way people can raise hands. Then Mr. Yorinde could, what's it called now? Ask them to speak and unmute them. I don't know how which is better. May I also ask that we please make sure our environment is not noisy. If you are in a noisy environment, please, maybe you change where you are. You can hide in the toilet. Trust me, it's not a crime. You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want us to see it, but I would love to see our faces. Most people are close camera, please. It would be nice to see your beautiful and handsome faces. We are all Niger people, I beg. Please, on this camera, let us see your faces. So that's all from me, Mr. Yorinde. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It has actually, it's almost 2 hours. And that's actually a very, very long time. I will leave the vote of thanks to after the question and answer session. So to be very fast, I mentioned that he cleared 3 hours. Now we have already spent 2 hours now. So
trust me, if you want, Mr. Yorinde, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
If you want me to stay longer online, I am here.
Okay.
We are just trying to do shopping because it's winter now. People are freezing. And Mama only came with a slipper. You know all our old women with their slippers that they wear around. So the code in Serbia is not enough. So we are taking her out to buy some things. And we don't have to go today, like I told my wife. So trust me, anytime we want, I am here.
Okay.
Please put on your camera. I would love to see faces. Thank you, Mr. Edward. Mr.
Okay, that's my ego.
Respect, sir. If my Oga can say you are Egbon, then I have to give respect to you too.
Okay, so I believe we can all put on our videos now. And I don't know, so that we will
if you want to, of course.
Yes. So that we can do it in a coordinated manner. Just raise your hand so that I can give us number, so that we'll do it in a very coordinated way. Definitely, I'm planning to, put this on my YouTube channel after the whole program. So please, if you have question, just indicate so that I can give you number. Then after we have numbers, then we can call us in order. Please, let's be very fast. If you have a question, you can either raise your hand. I will just give the number here and tell you the number.
Can they also type in the box? Is it okay?
Yes, and if you also want to type in the box, you can do that.
Somebody said, I want to ask, must I have education degree like NTI, like you said? Can I answer that first?
Yes,
Mr.
very
David,
fast.
that's from you. Yes, you have to. Okay, one Miss AB is raising her hand. So maybe I quickly answer this, then Miss AB can go.
Okay,
can take
okay,
that
yes,
next.
okay.
So, Mr. David, sir, you have to have that degree. You may get some jobs that does not require degree. As a matter of, qualification like NTI or certification. As a matter of fact, some schools will say, is either you have it or you are willing to go for the training while you are working with them. And most of them will sponsor you. Do you understand? But that is rare, especially because we are at a disadvantage in two areas already, our race and our country. So if I was somebody from the UK now who does not have teaching qualification, they might still pity my ancestors and say, okay, you're from UK, you know about this already, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's, you understand what I mean? So you get the best chance you at getting that job is to do that. The NTI is not expensive. I don't think I spent up to 50K for my entire NTI. It was maybe 18,000 one semester, 18,000 second semester. We did teaching practice 10,000 and project 10,000. The rest, maybe we just want to appreciate our lecturers when they come for teaching practice. We give them Coke, we buy bread for them. Nobody is stressing us, and it's weekend. That's why I was saying NTI. I'm not saying it has to be NTI. You understand? But I'm looking at the cost compared to if you have to go to maybe a part-time program in Oshele or a part-time program in UI. Okay, I'm just considering an NTI is just within one academic year. I think my NTI was between August to say July of the following year. It's not that I would do one project. Somebody is my supervisor in UI is not around. He has done a sabbatical leave or something like that. So that's why I said NTI, because it's easy and I think it's cheaper because it was cheap for me. Okay.
Okay. Someone is asking, what if you have BH? You don't need NTI again.
You don't need NTI. In fact, you're Oga. You don't need that. That BEdu is just it. Can I say something on that? Like when I was in Macau, you know the subsidy that I said the government gives is based on your teaching experience. And they consider that experience after your certification. So me now that I've been teaching since 2005, I thought they would consider 2005, 2016 should be 11 years. Is that not? They didn't consider 11 years for me, not at work. My workplace put me on a nice level. But the government will place me, the government ought to place me on the same level that the school placed me in order to give me subsidy. Okay, so the government considered a level before because they didn't consider me previously. They only started considering me from when I got certified in maybe 2014. So it's like to them, I'm just 2-year certified teacher. So that determines my subsidy. Again, it's just Macau that gives subsidy. I've never heard of any other country that gives subsidy. Macau give us they call it DSCJ subsidy, just like say Ministry of Education subsidy. The government also give you subsidy of 200 MOP per month for your electricity bill. That's it. That's like say I think that would be like our 10,000 or 8,000 per month. So if you do electricity and it's just 199, the bill is zero automatically from the company. If it is 205, you pay only $5, 5 Macau dollar, of course, that is on me. Government does that for every household, and government only pays teacher subsidy. And government give us something called the teacher card, which I can take to the hospital and I get free medical treatment. But of course, I have to pay for my wife and any child that I have. Do you understand my point? So that is why that qualification is very, very important, because you might find yourself in a place like Macau, but you might find yourself in other places who will not mind whether you get qualified yesterday and you have been teaching for the past 10 years and they consider you 10 years. It's different. B.Ed is perfect. M.Ed is even perfect. Okay, some places pay for master's allowance. When I got my master's degree, my school started adding 500 to my salary, 500 Macau dollar. So that's like, say, I don't know, maybe is that 25,000? I don't know. Whatever Macau is times 50. Yeah, so I think 500 times 50. Am I right with that calculation? Is that like 25,000? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's why it's very important. Next question, please.
Someone is asking, is NTI similar to TRCN?
Sorry, before we take that, Miss AB is
Miss
raising her
AB,
hand
okay.
for long. Yes,
Okay,
let's hear from her first. We can't hear you. We can't hear you yet. Please hold on. Let's fix your audio. Yes, you can talk now. You mute yourself again. Oh. Okay. I think, yeah, no, it's breaking. Oh. Can I suggest? We still can't hear you. Can I suggest that you send a chat to the chat? Because I don't know if anybody can hear you, but I cannot.
Maybe you type in, ma. We actually
in the
cannot
chat,
hear
my
you.
sister. Please type in the chat. I think the network is not so good. And if by putting on the video, we can't hear you properly, you might, if your network is not strong in your area, you might just, put off the video. That will help the bandwidth a little bit, and maybe we can hear you for the sake of others too. Well, yes, Mr. Irene, you were going to.
Okay, I don't know. Mrs. Kirby, can you speak now? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay,
can you
yes.
hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
it's
We
better.
can.
Okay. Sorry, my battery is even running low.
Fine.
Very much for your time. Yeah.
Okay.
Please, I've been on this for a very long time. In fact, I lost my job because of this international, seeking for international placement. I was in Green Oak when I joined Search Associates, and I had some invitations, interviews, and all that. And when it came to the time for referencing, like we talked about, instead of the principal to reference me, he reported me to management. And, it was like, she wants to leave, that kind of thing. And as a result, I was asked to leave. So, and since after then, it's been, even about 2 years ago, there was one in China that I had an interview on Skype. In fact, they were like, when can you start and all that. But I didn't get to hear from them again after then. So I don't really know what I'm doing wrong, because I've been on it for like 5-6 years now. I will have interviews and all of that. And I have international experience, not international experience. I've taught in international schools like Green Oak. I've had colleagues that, have experienced the IB program and all that, and they've been putting me through. I've been learning through them and all of that, and then IGCSE and all that. Even last IGCSE result, my student came national best and all that. So I know that to an extent, I know what I can offer, but why is it that, I'm not getting through with these international jobs? In fact, at the time I had to even stop my Search Associates. I wasn't even applying for jobs again. So my profile was redundant somehow. So I can't even log in again, because it was somehow discouraging. I was like, I've lost everything with this international. Let me just concentrate. So I don't know what I'm really not doing right. That's okay. I'm not scaling.
Okay, I think we all got that. Can I quickly respond to that? I'm so sorry to hear about that, sister. And these things happen, especially, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. It's just that it's so much Nigeria. Somebody wants to leave, you want to destroy their career because they are leaving. And I don't see why it is so wrong for people to move on. It's just normal for people to move on. I once had a boss. I didn't understand it at first. I once had a boss in DWC, that's the waterman, and he would say, if you want to leave, it's an expatriate from the UK. She's an expatriate. So if you want to leave, I'm happy to give you a reference. People will go around and report and say, she's sending all our people to go, but it's just the mindset that she has, that as a human being, we are meant to move on when the time is right. So it's quite unfortunate that you had to go through that. I will say, I don't know if you can still hear me, but did you talk to your boss before using them as reference?
Okay, the first one, the principal himself, I did not have a talk with him. It was my HOD. My HOD had the reference, wrote the reference, and there was no problem about it. But they insisted, Search Associates insisted that my principal should write. So I had to just send the email,
Okay.
So that was where the problem started.
Okay, so here is it. That is why I mentioned something about so-called good. I'm not saying you don't have a good working relationship, so-called good working relationship with those people. Do you understand? So for example, when I was leaving, the current principal then in Day Waterman, I wasn't in that relationship with him. In fact, I thought, okay, if I should tell him, Yawa with gas. So I didn't tell him. What did I do? I went to the vice principal. The vice principal and myself, now like this we did. And because she has seen what I have done, she's also from the UK. She's a Nigerian, but from the UK, and she's like a mother. I said, Ma, this is what I want to do. I'm applying for a job abroad. And you have a son like me. You cannot say your son should not progress. I want something like this. I took her consent. I used her. I put her email after we discussed. Okay. I put her email and she wrote my reference for me. Then our principal, there was a former principal that for one reason or the other, her position was changed, but she was still in our school. I also took her consent. She's Oyinbo. I took her consent. She wrote for me too. I didn't go to the principal then. The former principal that left, she has seen a lot of Olympia that I did. She gave me an open reference even before she left. I put that there. So I didn't go to number one person as at the time of my application. Can you mute yourself, please?
Okay.
So I didn't go to that number one person as at then, because I had a feeling that if I go to number one person, Yawa with gas, I didn't have that cordial relationship with him. I thought I did, but things happen, and I'm like, this man will not, and it really happened. Mr. Arinde, if you remember Samo 2016, we went to South Africa for final round. What if I told you that I paid for that trip myself, even though one of my students was one of the finalists? And the reason I paid for myself was because I got to the point where I need to apply for, okay, me and this person, being a female student, a female teacher has to go with me. The three of us are going to South Africa, something that the school is looking forward to, something that the board is so happy that for the first time, student is qualifying. And this man told me, no, because I'm leaving. I said, well, I'm not leaving until officially 31st. This competition ends even before 31st. And if I did not go, Nigeria will not participate as the country organizer. It was my own money that I used to go to South Africa that year, even though the school eventually won bronze medal too. And it was this man that blocked it. So I knew I didn't have that cordial relationship with him. And he was shocked. He was going to the UK, we were going to South Africa. He was shocked to see me in the airport. Well, we block, but boy, as I block this guy, he still travel. So these things will happen. That is why you need to find a way. You need to use sometimes carrot and stick method, especially when that time comes, for people that are not so in good terms with. But most places, if they cannot get reference from the principal, they will take from vice principal. They always put it there. A reference must be from the head or deputy head. That was where my VP came in that year. So if you want to try again next time, talk to those people. If your VP, especially VP Academics, has given you a reference. In my own case, VP Academics, I think VP Academics too was involved that year. VP Pastoral, because I was also head of house parent, somebody that is in charge of boarding house. If I have any issue with a teenager, an abuse or whatever, she will be able to speak for me. But he has been a good uncle and father to these boys in the boarding house. So she's able to say all sorts of things on my behalf. So I didn't go to Oga Pata because I know Oga Pata would not let me go. So people can be like that in Nigeria. It's unfortunate. I don't know why it is like that. Then the school in China that you said, they ask you how you can start, it's possible during the interview, they ask you when can you start and everything. It doesn't mean you will be chosen. They will ask every candidate the same thing. But when you are chosen, of course, they will tell you. So, but if you can make your CV your profile in such a way that there's no negotiable, you are the best candidate. If I can find the email I got from this school when I was given, I will keep that email for life. Offer, I think it was called, I think if I just search the word offer, like they unanimously agree that I am the best for the job. Oh my God. That email, my sister, I'm going to keep it for life. Because of that word, especially unanimous. Okay, so if everybody, and they are not the only one I applied to, but they are the only one that said that. So if it is my job, it will be my job. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me see if I have that email. If I have it while we are talking, I will show you. Okay, but my point is, maybe it was not you didn't get to the final stage. That's why they didn't get back to you. A serious international school will get back to you. And also, time also matters. If at the time they are looking for position, you see, what favors we, that we are Africans, is when it is not the peak period and teachers are not available anymore, we get lucky. It's unfortunate. We shouldn't have been the one that would take what is left. But if that is the only thing available, and it's better than somebody is trying to pay you 50,000 and they're owing you 5 months salary, you will take it. And when you get that experience in that place that didn't consider you at first, too, like the fourth China job, I'm very sure they probably got somebody from the UK or Australia or wherever. And because that person turned them down, they contacted me in August to be coming. Because normal recruitment period, Mr. Isaac knows what I'm talking about. We've talked about this over and over. Normal recruitment period starts around November. And by March, school has agreed because they have to do budget, they have to know how they are paying everybody and everything. And everybody will have gone for summer holiday by June. They're coming back in August. So any school that is contacting me to come and start job immediately, in fact, they entice me with a China visa will take me only 3 days, while Macau has been giving me issue for over a month. I've been losing salary already. Yet I didn't take it. Not because I don't want to work with them, but I'd already signed a contract. So sometimes you want to look at the time. Don't stop your application. You apply in January, go to that website again in February, go to that website in March, go to that website. As we are talking now, some people are leaving their job. They just got somebody that their family is hospitalized in their country and their mother is on the clinical bed. They will just pack their car and leave. That vacancy will be there. The school will quickly go to the agency website again. In that case, it is not the best of the best they are looking for. It is that candidate that can come sharp they are looking for. That's where some of these opportunities will come. So don't wait for, especially when somebody come from with Cambridge, Oxford, you and I are bringing UI, Mapoli. They will go to Cambridge, they have not even heard of Mapoli. Let me shock you with something. When I was given the Macau job, they have to check all the qualifications that I claim to have. My Mapoli certificate reads mapoli.edu or whatever. They went to that website. The website does not exist again. I almost lost my job. It was as if I lied. I had to explain that email. I'm sure I still have it. I had to explain that they are Lagbaja. Hey, Emma, you not go just accept me like that. It's because of the country that I come from. I had to tell them to Google the school to now be able to get the new website. That the website was changed. Somebody could have just kept that domain and reroute everything to the new website. No, they want to globalize me and send their ancestor back to the village. So these things happen because of the kind of environment that we find ourselves, unfortunately. Okay, my sister, but please do not stop trying. Do not stop trying. Okay, let's take the next one.
Omolayo, I don't know if it's Mr. or Mrs. Can have the floor now. The person with device, Omolayo, you are raising your hand. You can have the floor now. Okay, if that's not coming up, I have some questions here. Okay, that came around. I don't know if you are still conversant with NTI and TRCN. Someone is asking, are they the same?
Enlightenment? Okay. Are they tone pinks? I don't know if I want to believe that a miss. Miss Adetone, thanks so much for giving me. Is NTI similar to I don't know? I think TRCN is like Teachers something Council of Nigeria or something. So that one has nothing to do with your qualification. Whether some people will say, what association do you belong to? I've seen some job website that will say you should put what you belong to, but trust me, that's like 1 to 5% of those applications.
I think
those
to clear that area is like having a bachelor's in engineering, that is BEng, and registering with what they call them now, COREN, Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria. So having the bachelor's of engineering is equivalent of having maybe BEd, or you are doing NTI to get a teaching certification. While TRCN is like we are registering with the association of the teachers in Nigeria. So I think that answers that one way. Someone asked a question here, long ago. He said, please, my question are about one, age restriction.
Mr. Isaac, the age restriction is 55, most countries. Either 55, no, not 55, not 55. My colleague in Macau is over 50, it's 65. They always put it there, that as long as your age is less than 65, it doesn't matter if you are 60, as long as you can still deliver. So it's not like you have to be 20, you have to be 30. No, the age is 65, most countries, because you are coming to contribute to their economy. They need you to be in working, whatever, like you can still do stuff. That's why most countries benchmark it to 65. So yes, you and I are still good, unless you are grandpa and I'm not aware yet. So then, just kidding. Yes, let's look at the next one. I can see one here from Oluwaseun Edward. NTI is a Nigerian, okay, I think it's just explanation. How does someone become part of the program? Which program? Please clarify.
I asked the question, but he's no longer in the meeting, Mr. Wona. Yes.
Okay.
Then, a lot of people complained of battery. But someone also asked a question. He said, please, how can I go about getting experience in international teaching? That
okay,
is
I saw
for
that.
Mr. David.
Yeah. So, Mr. David, 2 ways. Or okay, let me put it this way. Like I said, find a school that has it. Apply to them. Let that be your next school. For example, I mean, does Graceland do IGCSE, Mr. Unity?
Yes.
Okay. So take, for example, Graceland does not do it. But there's another school in Port Harcourt that does it. That school will take me because I have credibility being a Graceland teacher, for example. And if I apply for their job, they will take me. From there, I get the job. Or I could find one of the schools that they are not as touche as the Waterman. Okay, maybe they don't even have enough students. But from my findings, they can give me, job, and they will not hold me 10 months salary, because money is you still need some money to run things too. Okay, you will just find a way to get into that kind of a system. It is in that system that you can get your experience. Or if you are lucky, like my own case now. In my own case, I could tell people, I didn't just start applying to Day Waterman and say I want to teach IGCSE. I went there as a core member. It was when I got into the system and they see what I could do. This guy, we must not let him go. They gave me a job. And then it's now on my CV that I have IGCSE experience for 4 years. It was the same IGCSE experience that I got to, now I'm linking it to the DP experience. And I got to a school that does IGCSE and DP. Remember, they brought me because I have IGCSE experience. So my business with them is IGCSE. But they also offer the IB program. After 2 years, let us test this guy in the DP class. In fact, when I was leaving, they didn't want me to go, but they understood that I have to go, which is why it pains me. It's quite unfortunate what that lady said, that when she wanted to leave, it was wahala. My Oga, of course, expressed that they don't want me to go because of what the students said about me and what I'm doing for the community and everything. But he said, however, you are leaving for a good reason, and whatever we need, we will support you with. There's an email here that says, oh my God, your director's reference was great. I'll find that email. I've gotten that Mapoli email too. I'll find it, I'll show you. For you to, I don't know what my director said, but even the agency said, oh my God, your director's reference was great. And I'm like, wow, you know? So that it will be my suggestion. Find a school in your state. I don't know where your state is. If it is Lagos, they plenty, especially along those Lekki axis. It's not all of them that are big like CIS. You see some that are still, you know, manageable level. Contribute, and don't go there with the mindset of, I just want to go so that I can get out. No, do your own. Do it as if it is your children. Put your mind in it. Do something more than you should be doing. Those were the things I was doing in the Jamotitu. I didn't know I was preparing to go to be waterman. I was doing that in the Jamotitu. The Jamotitu was paying me 5,000 naira. 2005 to 2000 and I think end of 2007. Around end of 2007, they started paying me 7,000 naira. Till I left in 2008. I never knew, and I'll be the one to leave my house in Onikoko, trek to housing, Ibarra housing, teach students from 7 a.m. to 7:45 or 8, because there's no further maths in the timetable. I had to create it with the permission of my guys, like, this student will need further maths for engineering. No? Let us create further maths. I have to create further maths. So I will teach them in the morning, very early, because it cannot be accommodated in the school timetable. And the students that are willing will come very early in the morning. The only thing the school did for us at the point is to exclude them from the early morning assembly. And I will do that every day with no extra charges. So, in fact, I remember it was one holiday that I taught them differentiation and integration because there was no time. And they don't have to register it in WAEC. I just need them to have that knowledge. I'll take them to different competitions. If we go and ask principal for transport fee, Baba will not give us. I have one Baba like that, your blessed memory. He will not give us. I will use my money to transport them to the competition. My students who will support me, they will gather money, we do all these things. I never knew I was preparing myself for day waterman. And day waterman, I never knew that was preparing me for abroad. So let's do it, not because of what we want to gain, but because this is the right thing to do. Trust me, the gain, hey, you cannot imagine it when the time comes. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. If I could read this thing quickly, IB, is he talking about IB? Okay, I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, I think they are saying that that person was actually asking about how to get IB experience. But before we go into that, I think the person with Omolaya can unmute herself now, or either himself to speak now. I've given you the permission because he actually sent the, okay.
Thank you. Mr. Daniel, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Ma.
Yes, I'm one of your students then at Multiplier, so I can relate to the experience. I'm with Shayo, all of them. Ame, yes, we're together
yes,
then.
I remember.
Yes, I'm students that you even allowed to do the lesson for free then, so I can relate very well. I was given the opportunity. In fact, I started coming to you that I want to manage your lesson. I said, no, they manage lesson. lesson. So, and that was how everything started then. And to the glory of God, we are doing wonderfully well. Now, although I'll still chat and talk to you later, but I just want to relate to you that I'm into everything as you are speaking. I'm into the experience.
No problem. Please send me an email later. Let's catch up. Let's give others a chance to talk. You and I will talk. I will even send you my WhatsApp contact. It's good to hear from you. But you didn't show your face, so that I will not see how fine you are. God will judge you. Okay, let's move to the next one. So Mr. Isaac decided to put on, Mr. Isaac decided to put on his video now because I accused him of being an old man. He's trying to show that he's not old yet. God is judging you too.
So I think we can now address that that question of how to get the IB experience that Mr.
Okay. So I think I've kind of addressed it. That one too requires that you see a school that will give you a chance to do it. The fact that I was working on a publishable paper, the fact that I was doing a pure math master's program, my Oga, fortunately, that's my secondary administrator, who is the IB coordinator, also graduated from University of Macau. So when we talk one-on-one, he knows that I know what I'm talking about. We were even talking about real analysis one day, and I told him, I said, do you like real analysis back then? I wasn't saying this thing because I want him to give me high view. We just talk normally. So he was speaking different things. I said, we already ate real analysis back then. In fact, the only carryover I ever had in my life, even though the professor too is another story for another day, in fact, it got me that year, was real analysis. And the following year, I passed it very well because I had to show him that, no, I didn't fail it, you failed me. I said, now I'm in a master's program and I'm thinking of writing my thesis in functional analysis. And if that professor had not retired in the University of Macau, my thesis wouldn't have been on linear algebra. So my point is, William knew what I was doing. He was getting feedback from students. Of course, he would get complaints too. It's too strict. He's giving us too much work. Is this, is that. He was getting all those things. And he just called me one summer holiday. And he said, Daniel, we want to offer you IB class this year. Oh my God, I was so happy. He said, you got with your math, pure math background, you'll be fit for analysis and approaches. Because there are two math courses, AA and AI, just like saying pure math and applied math. I was so happy. He said he will give me SL. Each of these courses have standard level and high level. He said he will give me SL as anything. I just want to have IB experience in my own pali too. So I was going to order books because I want to have my own book. I have digital copies of my books and everything. I pay with my money. I don't take back. I invest too. I wanted to order the book. Then I said, I want to confirm, am I teaching AA or AI because I want to order my own books? He just replied my text message. He said, I'm changing it to HL. I think you can handle HL. I was so happy. That's why I taught HL for 2 years. And the following year, he gave me the AA course again for the coming grade 11. This time around, he gave me both HL and SL, which means both standard level and high level. So when I was being presented to this school, this guy taught HL. HL is where you teach all these proof by induction, where you teach all these differential equations. So a school that is saying, this guy has taught this thing for 2 years. It's a good thing for me just because somebody observed me in the system and decided to give me that opportunity. So my answer to you is, you can only get it when you get yourself into a system, even if the system is just IGCSE. Like I know a school in Lagos, I think in Green Springs, they do both IGCSE and IB. So take, for example, you find yourself in Green Springs. Maybe you have done IGCSE in a school. You couldn't get a job abroad. Even that IGCSE is enough to just go abroad, trust me. You don't have to run after IB. Just follow IGCSE. You now find yourself in a school that does IB. But if you are employed for IGCSE, you now be doing how you can make sure that they consider you for IB classes. Nobody will come and ask you, have you been teaching IB all your life? It's going to be on my profile, IGCSE and IB math teacher, even though I've only been teaching IB. This is my 3rd year teaching IB. It's not as if I've been teaching it for 15 years, but they only need that 2 years. Okay, I hope that does justice to that a little bit. Ogumefu Emmanuel, this is one of my former students whom I'm so proud of what he's doing now. He said, as a religious studies teacher, how can I scale through? I think your subject area is more of humanities. I have not seen any school that does religious studies, although they do it, but they are religious. No, we do religious studies in the Waterman, but it's the combination of Christianity, Islam, I think Hinduism, because in international education, it's not like we are grooming, Christian brothers or Muslim brothers or sisters. No, it's not like that. They want students to be aware of religion in the world. You need to know. It's like knowing that all these things exist, having an idea, and they are going to have an exam in it. So you see somebody teaching religious studies. Part of the syllabus we have Christianity, part of it we have Islam. They're not saying you should go and learn Quran. No, but there's a syllabus that you have to follow. I think they have Hinduism as well in the syllabus, which you have to teach to the children. So it's not like CRK or ZRK that we call the other one. No, it's not like that. But if there is a second subject that you study in school, take for example, history, take for example, in this place now, we call something I and S, individual and society. I never heard all those subjects before. All those things you can look at, I will suggest.
I think you can also look into global perspectives.
Thank you, GP, global perspective. So I would suggest you go to Cambridge website and go and see their programs. Okay, go to Cambridge website, go and see their program, see the one that is close to your subject, your expertise, or what you are teaching currently. That would be my answer to that. Coupled with the fact that in my school here, doesn't register students for IGCSE. So you have to find a way to, I thought your school does IGCSE. That's the eye they look you this time. Or you could even throw it to them and say, can we, give the student opportunity to do international certification? Maybe your school can adopt it. They just need to put some things in place, and a British Council or Cambridge International exam will let them do it. So I think that's what I can say about that. Mr. Isaac is raising his hand.
Okay, you can come up, Mr. Isaac.
And show your old man face. Ogami, I'm going to sing. Hello, Mr. Isaac. Hello? Maybe we take someone else. My guy is not ready yet.
Okay, I think Mr. Ogumefun Emmanuel. You can have.
He's the one that I read.
Okay.
Okay, maybe.
Okay, Mr. Isaac is up now.
Okay, Mr. Isaac is here.
Yes.
We can't hear you, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, yeah, okay. Good afternoon. I'm really sorry I've not been in the program for since it started. I've been on a journey from Ife. So that's the reason why I've not been as active as expected. I want to quickly contribute. I think Green Spring is the only school in Nigeria that takes IEP. I'm not sure, but I think basically that Green Spring is the only school. Now, you spoke, I sent in a message earlier, but I'm not sure that you saw it. The last time I contacted Teachers Horizon, the message I got from them was that I needed an EU passport. And then they specifically stated that that's what is mostly required for many of the candidates that they hire. So I applied to one of them, and then they stated basically that that's what is mostly required. So I want you to talk about that. Then about the IEB experience. The last time you and I spoke, I also gathered information about the SL, HL. I downloaded some questions and things like that. So what I was thinking, I don't know if it's going to work, is to gather questions around like that and then solve and post them on YouTube, like do YouTube videos of those things. And so my question now is, will that work as a form of experience? So that's what I want to ask.
Thank you, sir. First of all, for the Teacher Horizon EU passports, unfortunately, I'm sorry that happened, but that is not Teacher Horizon. At least I can testify to Teacher Horizon. It might just be the associate that handled your case that didn't, and I'm going to relate this to the person that that handled my case. So I'm going to talk to her about it right after this. That is not Teacher Horizon standard. If that passport is required, maybe for that specific job, okay, maybe for that specific job that you want to apply for at that time. Okay, device login. Okay, sorry, one sec.
I think Mr. Idowu Isaac can understand that may be a specific case,
it may be
not a general case.
It's not a general thing because because they told me from the beginning in 2016 that these things happen. No, that they are going to what's it called? That they are going to try their best. They know I'm from Africa. They know I'm from Nigeria. That's the reason they told me about those things.
Okay, I think I just did a screenshot of the message I was sent. I can share it.
Just share,
if you don't mind.
Yes, okay. Please send to me. Okay. Send to my WhatsApp immediately.
Let me send to your WhatsApp. Let me even send to your WhatsApp.
I will check it now immediately. I'll check it now. So that's that about that. But TH will not ask for that. It might be something and I will relate to them immediately because unless that school specifically asks for it, then yes. But in general, for you to apply for a particular job, go to their website now and indicate interest in some things. I will talk to Laura, that's the name of the lady that I talk to often about this, who processed my job. Of course, Laura was not my associate 4 years ago. I think it's a person that is available that undo your case, you know. Yeah, I think I saw something coming in now. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your interest and blah, blah, blah. As one of our advisors reviewed your profile today and it seems you don't hold EU passport. Yes, it's not for that, for teacher rising, Mr. Isaac. It is for this particular job in Portugal.
Okay.
If this is the case, unfortunately, we will not be able to proceed. That means this job specifically required EU passport.
Okay.
And most countries, most jobs in Europe, not all, requires that. The ones that will not require it, they have a way of sorting it with the government that they are bringing a foreigner. For example, if you want, there are high schools in Canada, but you cannot find it on any of these agencies. I've never found it, anyone. Because when I was planning that, okay, maybe my wife and I should move to Canada, let me find a job so that I can boost my application, I couldn't find any job from Canada. Why? It is internal within the Canadian government side that they do all these applications. So which means is either you are a permanent resident, you are a Canadian, you have the necessary qualification in Canada, blah, blah, blah. That is it. So if that job, I find it somewhere now, and I want to apply for it, they will definitely say, sorry, because you don't have these things. So it's not a TH requirement. It is this job, IBMYP from this particular school in Portugal. It is that country-specific requirement, not teacher rising. Not teacher rising.
Okay, okay.
Next one, sir.
Hearing that, Mr. Ogume from Emmanuel, I have another question.
Okay.
So you can unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Daniel.
Okay, sir. Long time.
Bye-bye. I love you, Joe. Now let me go to my question. I know you know me.
Okay.
Mr. Ogume from Emmanuel.
I know, of course.
Now, in respect to the study I made mention of the other time, Ogami, yes, I have seen global perspective. I have seen so many ones they made mention of, but they are not related to the course. And you said something initially. You said whatever anybody intends to teach must have a certification, a first degree in that will really help. It will really pave way. Now, in my school year, you know, I teach at Caleb British. We don't present students for IGCSE, although among common, what their curriculum entails is religion, CRS, Islamic, and Judaism. And now I've been trying for the past 2 years, I've been trying so that I'll be able to just have the certification and I can now start the processing. But despite that, I've not been able to get those things done. So that's why I was like, I just put it up. You will understand me better, sir.
I understand. You see, I said you should have a certification in what you do, but in some cases it's not applicable. Remember what I said about being a primary teacher. If you're a primary teacher, for example, you cannot say you want to have certification in English or maths. You are just a primary school educator. So in some places, whatever you study is not necessarily what you will teach, but it should be close. I have a student, not a student, sorry, a friend, I think he did maybe political science in the university. He was teaching history, he was teaching global perspective, you know, because they are related. Okay, I don't know what you study, but if what you study within that your study area that you have certificate, you have a when we say certification, is not just the IGCSE Cambridge certification we are talking about, like your university degree. Polytechnic, of course, is not going to be used. University degree or master's degree, that certification that you have in it. If you don't have any of that, here is what I can say. You can apply for, if your current degree is a BSc. Emmanuel, is it bachelor's that you have currently? Emmanuel, you can type in or just talk to the camera. Okay, I will just continue. Hopefully you can hear me. If my current qualification is, let's say I did a religious study in the university and I'm trying to teach humanity, I can look for a course in Unilag or LASU, a degree course in that same faculty that will accept my first degree and let me do like a master's program. You understand? So maybe there's a history department, philosophy department, or something, so that at least I can boast of, oh, there are people who have 2 degrees. Oh, they did something in drama. Their next degree is on political science. So you see them all over the place. When it is time to teach this subject, they are certified. And if they are experienced in it, why not? My current degree is master's in church degree. My first degree is religious studies from UI. Yeah, so I would suggest you find a way to have, if possible, a master's degree, if possible, because otherwise it will be difficult. Unless if you are certified, if you are experienced in something and a school is willing to overlook it. Sometimes it's just that, okay, he has a university degree, okay, but he can teach maths. Oh, he studied Yoruba University, but he's a very good maths teacher. Maybe some people, some places with the government permission and approval, we just say, okay, we need a degree and an experience, maybe, but it's not something that I have experienced. It's not something that I can say boast of, you know. If I may use that Yoruba, sorry.
Okay,
do you understand my point?
I also want to add this dimension. I don't know if you heard about it. There is also an opportunity using Search Associate that you can actually be like an intern teacher. Like even so I don't know if you know about it, you can elaborate on that, sir.
I have seen it. I can't say I know about it. Remember, I said earlier too, it's related to something I also said earlier, that some places we accept you with the hope that when you come in, you can do your necessary certification. Something that they know that you do not have, they will now teach you, you know? So it's the same as this. In Waterman, for some master's degree, some people were even sent to the UK to go and get all these PGC or masters or whatever. So some schools will invest in you. In my school, in the School of the Nation, whatever investment they do with you, you have to spend the next 2 years with them. If you now leave after 1 year, they will prorate the cost, and you will have to pay the rest back. If you send me to school and you say I spent 2 years, I will spend the 2 years now. It's win-win situation. Okay, I'm not just going to carry your knowledge and go and give it to another set of people. So you can also look at that. If you go to some other associate, maybe you can see intern. If you go in as an intern, it's just fine.
So I think to help Mr. Ogumefu, I think the point is you can do, and you can file in for an intern position. The pay will be less. The conditions of service will be a little bit lower than if you are applying with your all the needed documents. But within 1 or 2 years, you get the needed experience and you can file in for a bigger slot.
Yeah.
So any other person to ask question? Please, you need to ask them, because definitely we don't know if we have a session like this again, at least in the time being. So if you have any question before we, I think we've spent about 3 hours now, close to 3 hours.
Can I quickly share? I'm trying to look for some other emails, but I cannot find, but I found 2 that I want to show us. Because I was talking about Mapoli the other time. So I have that. So let's start with the Mapoli one. Can you see my screen? Can we all see my screen?
Yes, we can. We can.
So this was an email I got. Can you see? June 22nd, 2016. Dear Daniel, our education department, so let me increase so I can see how Nigeria almost ruined my life. Our education department of Macau has raised some questions and concerns, and we are sending them to you and hope that you can assist with answer. Number 1, Mapoli. The website is not correct address. However, if you type that, because this was the one on the certificate, though, the EduC. If you type this, you are able to find the Polytechnic. So they are unable to locate info at, that is something they put on the certificate, like if you have any question regarding this certificate, to email info at, and that info at does not even exist. Unable to see admission requirement because they want to see what did I possess for the school to give me admission for me to be able to study this. Maybe that diploma can be recognized. Even though that diploma is not necessary, I have my BSc and I have my other things. Unable to see school fees information, unable to find any teaching staff profile except principal, even though there's no principal officer like Bossa. They even thought it was the principal we are using. This thing could have cost me a lot. Then University of Ibadan, our first and the best. Unable to find undergraduate program online that you have pursued and graduated. No fee information required to log in or username and password on admission portal, which they find unusual. Maybe they have not been to Nigeria. Please provide the relevant information of the 2 universities mentioned, as well as contact person, blah, 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 as your work visa depends largely on the approval. These were some of the things that delayed me. I got job in June. I did not resume until September 20-something. So I had to write them a piece too, according to Saint Daniel. This is me now explaining myself, Mapoli. What was on my results was a former domain. This is now the new website and the contact address. They change everything without anything. Money, please know that most things are not done online until recent year, as our internet usage was not popular. It was not popular among Nigerians then. But I now put a Guardian report. Now this is a newspaper. This newspaper talk about how internet Nigeria goes. So you know, I'm not hiding anything. I said above, according to the bottom page of this, the new email address is this. Admission into this, I now told them about JAMB. Our own is not go to the school website, apply to admission officer, you go through JAMB. I now had to attach prospectus. This is how we do our own admission. I explained current school fees, and I put that. I said, I just realized that my teaching profile is not online as well, you know, which is not uncommon to us. Now, how many of our professors and teachers will write a lot about their profile? If you go to my Macau University, all the professors, where they graduated, all the paper they are published, everything is there. Our own is not like that. So I said to that, UI, I started again. Information about the clinic can be found in JAMB Procure. I attached that one, I found it online. I will not let you people run my own career. I put different links, faculty domain, history of Faculty of Science. I put something about my head of department then, Professor Ayola. I put those that taught me and everything. Admission portal, I had to explain. And I put people that they can contact. Ekagure, I put it, and this one, these are international professors. So you can look at this one. This one now is not Nigeria. So you can even see his profile is abroad. This is his number, this is his email. I put to whom it may concern, and now explain again and again. Fortunately for me, one of my teachers in Mapoli, lecturer in Mapoli, has published something. Then I put his profile there, where they say is the lecturer from Mapoli. Only one I was able to find. My HOD then, I couldn't find much about him. I just put his email and phone number, and I told them about all this. I even had to find my admission receipt and everything. I found it, because then you have to keep all those things. If I want to go to UI today to go and collect anything, they will ask me for all this year receipt, as if I did not pay before graduating. So we have to keep all these things. I attach them. You know, files relating to my attendance. Maybe I took picture with someone. I had to attach them, because I will not let you ruin my career and ruin the future of my ancestors. And of course, after I sent that, I think she replied me, review, received and sent for review. So she sent it to them. Thank you. By request, can you provide the Nigerian Government Education Department website? They asked that also. I put our own, the one that I could find. I even gave them the Nigerian Embassy in China website. You can contact them for verification. At least if you don't trust me, you should trust our Nigerian Embassy, whatever. through your own Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Of particular interest to support my email will be this Department of Education and this parastatals. I sent all those to them. And then everything was okay. Congratulations, can you see? I now got this back June 27. You cleared our government education department, focus on the course online that we have requested, blah, 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 and that's it. I could have lost that job. Ladies and gentlemen, I could have lost that job. So here's another funny one. Okay, this was the one I said that I was quite happy when I got it. So this was, I'm delighted that we have offered you blah, blah, blah. The offer, okay, see, we have a strong and we unanimously feel I will keep this email for life. I will keep this part for life. So I said this when I was answering the other lady's question earlier about what she asked me. So why is this very important? What is yours will be yours. If you put things in place, that's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter your sexual orientation, it doesn't matter your nationality. If you have good stuff, all these people that wrote me unanimously, I never met them until I got to this place. My agency told me about the school. There's Teacher Horizon, am I interested? I said, I don't want to go to Europe, it's 50% tax, so if they're giving me X dollar, at the end of the month, it's X over 2 that I'll be getting. I don't want to go back to square one. I said, no, this is different, blah, blah, blah. Then she told me it's a US mission school, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I said, okay, continue processing. Worst case scenario, when you send me the offer, I will say no. And then information, we started moving from one stage to another. And I keep telling everybody, this is the reason I want to leave. What are the things you expect of my environment? I just want a sense of community. Where I'm coming from, they are not just colleagues, they are family. I want to go to a place where my colleagues are considered my family as well. So if you people do community things together, we don't discriminate against each other, I want to feel at home, that's what I want. And of course, a lot of other things, questions were asked. And I moved from one stage to another, and final. That's it. I think about 3 stages. And the next thing is email. A few minutes after that email, I got an email from the director with my offer. Okay, they're going to call my boss for verbal reference. Even though he already completed the online reference, I told my boss, that's the director of my former school, oh, Mr. Naya, this is what they said. I just got this now. So don't worry, send my contact. That is where that good working relationship comes from. If I was in Day Waterman and I didn't feel comfortable with them calling my principal, I would tell them, my principal is not happy that I'm leaving. That is why I provided my deputy principal, my VP, and this is his contact. I can now say, okay, maybe you should contact both of them. And I will have told the deputy principal who is happy for me, who will provide a good reference and say, this is the situation, unfortunately, but he's a very good person. He's somebody we don't even want to lose, but we can't stop him from going. And if they say that, school, some people will give me chance, even if my principal did not write reference. So that's that. Any other thing before we go? Okay, with respect to first degree, I have BSc in biochemistry, but I'm teaching chemistry. Can this hinder me? No, biochemistry means you can even teach biology and chemistry now. In fact, I should be able to teach physics. It's related. It doesn't have to be that. There's nothing like biochemistry in the secondary. So you don't have to study biochemistry to teach biochemistry. There's nothing like that. In fact, the fact that you study biochemistry means you should be able to teach the 3 sciences. I know of a teacher in a school of the nation that is good with 3 subjects, science subject, physics, chemistry, and biology. And I know some that are just physics and chemistry. I know somebody that teaches just biology. She doesn't even teach chemistry. So it doesn't matter. You don't have any issue. I'm an IGCSE 35. Now, certification is different from having the experience, my brother. Do you have experience or you just did certification?
Yes, he's actually teaching currently now.
Teaching IGCSE?
Yes, in his new school, yes.
My brother, put your pally together. Go to Teacher Horizon and sign up. And someone should get in touch with you if there are jobs that you're interested in. Follow that CV, Teacher Horizon CV that I showed. Follow that CV format. And somebody will get in touch with you. Immediately you signify interest. If I can find any email, immediately you signify interest, somebody will get in touch with you. Oh, thank you for blah, blah, blah. We noticed this, you're interested in this. And of course, they will say they want to have some moment to talk to you. Alexi was the one that talked to me in 2016. Let me see. Below is the blah, blah, blah. If I can find that, I will, and I'll let you know. Yes, I found it. So this was in 2016 when, oh, sorry, I'm not raising my hand. That was an error. I think it's this one. Yes. So this was, if you look at the top, this was May, can you see? May 20, 2016. I told you apply. Can you imagine? It's even on the 20th that I started processing Teacher Rising. And by June, I got I even thought it's early May. Anyway, I've reviewed your CV and believe you could be a good candidate for this role because I applied for different roles, of course, China, SON, blah, blah. This is the SON advert then. Before shortlisting, I would like to arrange 20-minute Skype interview to check whether it will be a good fit. Are you available next week? Blah, blah, blah. I'm currently blah, 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 and that's it. And this was the genesis of the conversation. This is how Teacher Rising works. Once you indicate interest through their website, remember that button that says maybe, to indicate interest, there's a button you will click. That time, I think we are supposed to email somebody. So I copied the link. I said, I'm interested in this job. And that was why I replied with that one. But now I think you just have to click, I'm interested. And a message will pop up in your email that you have shown interest in this job. And when somebody talks to you, casually, it might look like it's an official conversation, but it's not necessarily an official conversation. They just talk to you like they have known you before. They want you to relax. They want to get to know you. They want to see whether you'll be a good fit because they are going to sell you without you paying a dime. So they're going to sell you. So they need to be sure that you are sellable. Okay. Sorry, I'm currently, thanks for uploading.
Someone asked a question, Mr.
Yes.
Eguasa David. He asked a question, he said, please, sir, can MSc replace NTI? I have MSc in microbiology, but no teacher certification, no teaching certification.
No, teaching certification is different. In fact, you can have a PhD. It will always be better to have that certification. It will always be better to have that certification. Like I said, some schools will overlook it. They will look at your stuff and say, this brother is very good, though. And maybe we can talk to the government because some of them is not their fault. Though. It is the government of that country that has this requirement. You understand? Some country, they will say, no, you have to have it by fire, by force. Some of them will say that. Okay? So, like my job this year, I think started with this. I applied to a school called King Faisal, whatever, in King Faisal school. I think it's in Saudi Arabia. I just want to get out of Macau. I want to find a place where my family can come in. Then later I realized my wife and I, we got to know that you can't even get into that country as a foreigner if you are not worker, which means the entire goal of making sure that our family can come in is defeated. So this was the first email I got from Laura. Oh, thank you for your interest in this. Could you upload a CV on your profile and let me know? I think as at then I had not uploaded a CV. So after this, I think then we started talking. Okay, no, this was the one that please, Mr. Irene, will question if there is any other question. So after we spoke, so I got this one. As clearly you have experience. You see, this is now the assessment of me after we spoke. You clearly have some valuable experience, as I mentioned in the Zoom. I'll be happy to recommend you to some of the schools which we work with as principal, as school principal, I've asked Teacher Rising. This is how it is done. So the first thing, I should make a video, what makes you a good fit for international school, describe what you think is effective teaching in 21st century. And I made the video and I sent, and then we started moving on from there. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, I'm trying to solve through the pain now. I think about getting experience in international teaching, we've answered that. I think we've answered virtually all the question, but if there is anybody that you know that maybe you've raised a question. Okay, someone asked, okay, Mr. Isaac is still raising this YouTube that he mentioned, that okay.
Sorry,
okay.
sorry, Mr. Isaac. My answer to that will be no. That you don't have the experience, but you decide to make YouTube video of the whatever. No, the experience means you are in the system. You see, IB and international teaching is not about knowing the content alone. And we have a lot of fantastic people in Nigeria. Oh my God. Maybe some of us, we meet ourselves in what's it called? In international competition. We know the kind of stuff that people are doing, you know? So it's not about that. So otherwise, anybody could do things on YouTube and that will suffice. But unfortunately, no. It's not about that. It will be difficult. It will be difficult to sell. I have a friend, a brother, actually, I met him through Mr. Untitled, who said he teaches SAT, he does be president for it. I'm like, my brother, go to all the teaching agency. You will not see anyone that says we are looking for candidate that can prepare somebody for SAT. No, because there's so much more and they need some specific things. So is it that you have it or you don't have it, unfortunately. So that teaching online, it could just be an added advantage. Like, oh, I teach my student online. I even upload it on YouTube for them to watch later. And also you have to be careful with the YouTube thing. Are you exposing student privacy? Did they consent to it? Because when I was telling schools that I upload students on YouTube during my interview, I let them know with their permission, of course, and in accordance with the school policy, because they are so serious with data privacy and everything abroad. That's why when you start the Zoom meeting, it will say this meeting is being recorded. If you are not accepting, that means don't enter the meeting. So by coming in, you have agreed to the terms and conditions that you are being recorded. You understand? Before somebody, maybe Mr. Adekunle will now say he's suing Mr. Yorinde for recording him and posting him on YouTube. Some of those things that is not relevant in our area is bad. They take it personal here a lot. So, but my students are aware that I'm recording. They even request it. My recording in School of the Nation started with somebody is missing school. And I said, I could actually record my class if you want. And they say, oh, yeah, if you don't mind, we'd love that. And I'm like, why not? Well, after I record, the school has the triple stand. When I record, the school has internet. So it's not that I'm spending extra money. Even if I upload it in my house, I'm not using any data money. It's the same monthly subscription that with the monthly bill that they will still bring, whether I upload or not. So I'm happy to do it. So they find it very useful. The feedback was great. My line managers were happy with it as well. In fact, my student will be the one coming in front of the camera. Of course, they have all this Instagram, whatever, they upload themselves online anyway. And anyone who does not want to be filmed will say they don't want me to film them. So the camera doesn't film people normally anyway, because it's just going to face the board. And they are the one that will even handle the camera for me. I'll just be teaching. Somebody will be using the camera to chase me around the board. And when they go home, in fact, they'll be the one sending me email. Mr. Daniel, can you upload today's video? And that's how you see videos becoming tens or hundreds of them. So I didn't do it because I just want to do it and record people and put on YouTube. Some of the things we get away with in Nigeria. No. I did it because, one, my student requested and I see it as a good opportunity and it actually helped me too. But here now, I've not recorded. I have recorded actually, but we have we have the Chrome TV and we have a very big TV with high definition camera. So when you record, it goes into my Google Drive, because my school is a Google school. So we have the internal Google, whatever, unlimited space. It's going to my Google Drive, and that I'm not allowed to share publicly by the policy of the school. So no matter how much lesson I record in this school, I can never put it on my YouTube. It will only go on my Google Drive, and I must not share that link, and I can only share it within my school. I will give to the student. In fact, even when we take pictures in the school, maybe for marketing, there are some parents that already signed that I don't want my child to be used for promotion. I don't want my child image outside on the internet. So, and every day they keep sending us, this is the updated list. So when you take photo in class, don't use it for marketing. Of course, we don't do that. Only the marketing department does. They will have to go and check the list. Mr. Arunide can be seen in this picture. What did the experience say? The experience said, no, we cannot use that picture because it's there. Or when you know that, this Mr. Arunide parent does not approve. Anytime you want to take picture, make sure it's either is not there or it's his back that you are taking. So that might just send, what I'm trying to say is that the YouTube thing might even send the wrong message if you are involving students. So that it's not as if, so when you come, that's how you'll be exposing our students too. So I was, I thought that's true. Whenever I say, I even record my classes, at my student request and in accordance with the permission of my supervisor. So they know that it's not just me bringing camera phone and recording students and putting them online. So we have to be very careful even when we want to use that. So don't put your students online unless you are ready to defend it and say, it is their request and it is with their permission that I did this thing, because data privacy is a very big deal abroad. Any other one?
Any other question? Okay. I think on this note, I will humbly request Egbon Makinde because if I do the vote of thanks, I plan that I will do that before, but I think we have to give honor to whom honor is due, and we also need to allow elders. You will have to do so. We also need to allow elders to help us to appreciate our guest speaker. Actually, he has actually, definitely we all know that this is a sacrifice on the part of every one of us, even the attendees, even though they need, but it's also a sacrifice on their part. As a matter of fact, I am missing my period. And when I say period, I'm not a female. When I say period, I'm supposed to be having a class now. I'm supposed to be having a class. I should be having a class now that I've delayed over and over. But definitely, I may not be able to have that class again today. So I think we all are sacrificing. Our guests are sacrificed a lot. The convener, that's myself, I've sacrificed. In fact, I was explaining some of the sacrifices to a friend of mine who just left now because of the time difference. And even the people that were with us, the participants, you all have sacrificed a lot. And I think as we're about to end now, I'll be so much happy if all of us can now put on our video while Mr. Oluwasegun Edward Makinde will help us to, thank the participants, thank the guests, and also, for us to end up. So I'll be happy if we can all put on our video now while Mr. Makinde help us to give the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the privilege. And hope you can hear me clearly, everybody.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for the privilege. In fact, it's not easy. Like you rightly said, of course, we were in Nigeria before, and my very good friend there, you know the way it works in Port Harcourt. Everybody's always on the move, try to do lesson here and there. In fact, I had to come and stay in a place, and I plugged my food. I must listen to this today. Because for a long time, there's nobody that's not aspiring to at least leave this country once, at least to secure your future and that of your children. It's everybody's dream to have that. So that was what I felt. I must be there, although I was supposed to be in a lesson, but I felt no. Let me partake in this one. This one is better. So thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. If I went through your LinkedIn now to check all your data, I discovered that in fact, you've really done a lot. For you to even be able to give us 3 hours of your time, we can only say a big thank you. You really did a good job. And I hope that one of these days we'll get to know each other better. And I hope that you're going to drop your email address with us. So
it's in the slide. It's in the slide.
Okay, that's
so
better.
I will send the slide to Mr. Enlistment so that he can share with us, or I could just put it in the chat and we can just copy it now. So because I don't know if everybody is from Mr. Enlistment or some of them is from my status. But if you are from my status, you can always inbox me on WhatsApp. I will send to you. If you are from Mr. Enlistment, Mr. Enlistment will undo it. So the slide will be available. No worries, sir.
Okay, okay, no problem. So I'm also a teacher here with the Jesus School Port Harcourt. So I'm also looking forward. But no, you have answered almost all the questions I wanted to ask, because our school, the way it's being run, is actually we use Nigeria curriculum. But though we try to see whether we can integrate other stuff into it. That was how we call it. We call our own. Let me say we call our own integrated curriculum, because like we check our scheme, it comprises stuff from Nigerian stuff, then foreign one. We try to mingle them together so that our students, if you want to write IGCSE, SAT, you won't need any extra class again for you to scale through. So we try to touch almost everything. So we integrated everything together, be it IGCSE, SAT. We just look at the topics, the ones that are not in our Nigerian curriculum, we squeezed everything in. So you don't try this change. So you won't need to go for any extra question if you want to write any exam and all that. So, but it's not really IGCSE certified school. That was when I went for IGCSE certificate in Lagos. I met Tosin, Adekule Tosin is there with us too. We met in Lagos. I sponsor myself for the IGCSE training, even though they had to tell me that my school is not certified. How did I do it? I had to go online, do it outside the school to go on because I need it. I went for the lower one, for the senior one and all that, just for self-development and all that. So on behalf of everybody here, I will say a big thank you to you, Mr. Daniel, for your time and for the sacrifice. And I hope and I pray that one of these days we will all smile while we meet across there. Then I will just say, Mr. Daniel, I'm in UK, or also I'm in the US. Say, Mr. At least let it be that at the end of this talk, in the next couple of years, 1 to 3 years to come, let us see that at least a good number of us are also over there. So
that is the idea. That is the idea.
Yes, yes.
That's the idea. The more people we can get out, the better. And like the Yoruba will say, ojú ẹyẹ tó ẹyẹ fò láì farakanra balance. Ojú enough for everybody. Ojú ọ̀run, sorry, not ojú ẹyẹ. Don't mind me, Jerry. So the idea is big enough. You are abroad does not mean you are going to take my salary, but you are working in my school does not mean you are going to take my salary. Doesn't mean you are going to, even if you are working in my department, you are not going to take my salary. So
of course. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. And we are looking forward to meeting you someday.
Thank you so much. Okay. Maoga.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Let me go and have my breakfast.
I appreciate everyone for coming. I think we started with prayer. Mr. Eguasa David will help us with a closing prayer now as we end the meeting. Thank you.
Before we do that, sir, I put the link in the chat. So if anyone wants to copy it, so you can see the link so that subsequently I can always, Mr. Enlistment, we have it too. Yeah. But if you want to copy it right away, you can have it. Then I will say I'm sending it to Mr. Enlistment as well on his WhatsApp, just in case.
Immediately I have it, I'll put it in the WhatsApp group because I actually created the WhatsApp group for this. Yeah. And we have about, I'll be dropping the link now in the WhatsApp group. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, I've already dropped it in the WhatsApp group. So we can all, pick the slide from the WhatsApp group. So I think I would not, maybe I will just send an email, just an appreciation email, and maybe attach it after the meeting. So Mr. Eguasa David, you can pray for us while we call it a day.
Unmute, please. He said unmute, please. I think you have to unmute him.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
All right. Let us pray. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Father, we thank you for today's presentation. We thank you for the participants. We thank you for the convener, and we thank you for our guests. We thank you for what we have learned today. Be that glorified in Jesus' name. Lord, the lessons we have learned, the things we have known today, let it be useful to us in the name of Jesus. Give us the grace and the wisdom to take the right step so that our destination will be realized in the name of Jesus. We commit every resources needed to achieve this aim, this goal, provided in the name of Jesus. Thank you for answering our prayers. We ask that everyone here, their various endeavors, wish them success in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you for all you've done. In Jesus' name we are prayed.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying to the end. I know it's a very long one. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting now. Thank you, sirs.